Good afternoon and welcome to the latest episode, edition, whatever, of Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are back live for Tottenham versus West Ham United. We are about to kick off. We're very late. It's my fault. It was a choice of having a roast dinner now or wait until about 7:30. Had to go for the lamb roast, didn't I? Here we are. Gnome, straight over to you for the teams, please, buddy.
Good evening, all. Right, we go with Fabianski, Kufal, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Masuaku, Bowen, Souček, Rice, Fornals, Antonio. And on the bench, we have Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Snodgrass, Noble, Diop, Fredericks, and Randolph, as we've just kicked off. Do you want me to go through the Tottenham quickly?
Please, buddy. Yeah, please do. While I scribble some links out across the web.
Okay, well, Tottenham start as follows. Lloris, Aurier, Sanchez, Alderweireld, Reguilon, Sissoko, Højbjerg, Dombele, Bergwijn, Kane, and Song. The big news, of course, is on the bench. They've got an ex-Hammer in the form of Joe Hart.
Excellent, excellent. So while I'm still scribbling out some links, Gnome, a big hello, first of all, to everyone else who's with us on the stream today. We had Bristol Hammer, the Pink Palermo Rio, and of course Gnome, who you've already met, sharing their pearls of wisdom this afternoon as West Ham seek to make it 3 games, 3 wins in a row following successes against Wolves and Leicester. Bristol, Briz, I'll come to you first. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, thanks, mate. What I was until Son's put the ball in the back of the net for Spurs. So we were attacking on the Spurs 18-yard box. There was a ball from midfield over the top of the defence. Ogbonna was slow to react to it. Ball went out wide to Son. He crossed the ball inside the far post.
As you can tell, I'm still catching up here. I'm just seeing the goal coming now. The goal's come with 45 seconds on the clock. Pinky, good to see you, buddy, but not the best start for West Ham.
Yeah, no, we've had better starts, let's put it that way. And I mean, Balbuena there, he's just been done for pace by Son. You know, complete mismatch and way too easy for Son. He just managed to cut the ball back inside. Good finish off his right peg, but that was meat and drink to Tottenham there. Far too easy. Far too easy.
Yeah, a pretty desperate start, Rio, for the Hammers today. I suppose everything's got to improve from here on. As we said, 45 seconds gone, 1-0 down already.
Yeah, now the last thing we want to do is start off on the back foot like this. My worry was the international break coming at completely the wrong time for us. I know Tottenham had a really good result at Old Trafford the other week, but for us, we had 2 excellent games in a row. And we always seem to lose a little bit of momentum. It takes us a game or 2 to kind of break back into stride. And we're falling behind already. And yeah, it was just all over the top. Balbuena got caught flat-footed, and you can't afford to give Son them kind of chances because he's the one player who will kill you.
Yeah, pretty, as I said a moment ago, pretty desperate stuff from West Ham there. Rio, we're going to have a look. I was going to say we'll have a look at the match thread to see what people are thinking about potential scoreline this afternoon. I guess that changes everything, but we'll cut over there in just a minute. Hello to everybody joining us on the live stream on YouTube. Good to have you here as usual. No, we've seen the teams. We haven't even had an opportunity to discuss the teams and the strengths and weaknesses of each side so far. But we can sort of do that now, I guess, even though we've seen the first goal of the game going.
It's kind of annoying, really, because that goal was Leicester tactic number 1. And if you replace Song with Vardy, and I don't think we allowed them one of those in 90 whatever minutes the other week. 45 seconds, yeah, we do that. There's Antonio's just been kicked up in the air, just outside the box, about 3 or 4 yards outside the box, and. Do you want to stay with me because we're going to have a free kick in a useful position here?
Please do, because I'm a few seconds behind.
All played in, and it's Sanchez has just gone straight through the back of Antonio, and there's the usual hands up, what me ref, but excuse me. So we have a free kick, as I say. It's been pushed back. I'm sure it was a lot closer than that. It's about 8 yards outside the box. And Cresswell's there at the moment, and everybody's lined up on the edge of the box. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Okay. As we said,
everyone's paused. It's like yeah, get on with it. Then Rice's actually stood over it. Ball comes in for Cresswell just a foot or two wide. Decent effort. Let's have another look. We'll just see how close it was from behind the goal.
Okay.
Try to curl it outside the outside post and come back in. About a yard wide. Seen worse free kicks, but yeah, let's carry on. So as I was saying, yeah, I mean, we managed to get through the whole of Leicester game, not doing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
4 seconds, we've been caught short by a ball over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basic stuff. And again, we're getting caught again. Another sort of generally hopeful punt. And that was very, very short back pass played to Fabianski. Had to be alert to beat Song to it. But we're coming away with the ball now on the right hand side, and you know, Kufal's on the ball, cuts inside. Yeah, it's frustrating because that's the one tactic that we had to be aware of against Leicester. And
okay,
we had both. I think we had Bowen there just sort of bearing in on the ball, but cleared it away for a throw in.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Gnome. Pinky, I can see you bursting to say something there. What are your thoughts, buddy?
Well, I mean, my thoughts are, was that the average age of people in this country dying with coronavirus is 82, and wishing the very best to David Gold, who is 84. So that's how I'm feeling at this point in time. It's an awful start by West Ham's planned move by Tottenham Hotspur. They're clearly going to target Balbuena. The chance there for West Ham, you know, but they're clearly targeting Balbuena with Son's pace, and I'd expect they'll be putting the ball down that channel all afternoon. Yeah. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see us make an early substitution and maybe bring on Diop for Balbuena. It's that serious.
Okay, good stuff. Briz, on that point that Pinky's just made there, Diop back, as we know, from his recent enforced absence. Surprised to see him on the bench today, or do you think Balbuena has earned the opportunity to start again?
I feel a little bit sorry for Balbuena, actually, because that ball over the top, Kufal was actually up top. Spurs broke again. They're in the box.
Yeah.
It's just nearly another good chance for Son again. But when the ball came over the top, Kufal was actually level with Bowen up on the right-hand side, and Balbuena and Ogbonna.
2-0 Tottenham.
Oh, dear me.
Okay, Breeze, take us through the goal if you've got it there, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely dreadful defending. I was just kind of trying to defend Balbuena, and as I'm doing that, he just basically is static. Spurs break, they're outside the box. It's a really tame shot and just get dribbles into the corner, really. And this has been absolutely shambolic defending from us. I'm just watching it again now. The ball's over the top. Kufal makes a hash of the header. Doesn't look like anything's on, and you know we've.
He's nutmegged Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And gets a shot off. Ogbonna tried to charge it down with a late lunge, but it's just too easy. I mean, Harry Kane, in it goes. I mean, and I'm afraid that's the points. You know, I'm sorry, it's a Jose Mourinho side. I can't see us getting 2. I certainly can't see us getting 3.
Great.
Rio, we've only come to you once so far, and we're already 2-0 behind. What's going on, buddy? What's the problem here?
Can I just ask you about your roast dinner, mate? Because
well, it was better than what we're watching here anyway. I mean, West Ham are certainly getting roasted out on the field this afternoon.
Yeah. Let's forget the football. Just carry on with the dinner.
Well, I'm quite happy to talk, effusively about it, but I don't suppose anyone would be that interested. As nice as it was, but Harry Kane, there he goes, 2-0.
Yeah, it was just too easy for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Said Dick got completely nutmegged, and Fabianski couldn't even move. It was just. It's far too easy for a side that normally doesn't offer a lot going forward under Mourinho. They're cutting us apart a wheel and making us look amateurish. As I said, the international break has come at the worst possible time, and we always seem to take a game or two to get back into our stride.
Yeah.
Of all the teams to fall against, it's these lot. It's already game over, really, isn't it? I've got nothing positive to add at the moment.
Okay. I think you'd be very hard stretched to, quite frankly, given what we've seen. Spurs 2 shots, Spurs 2 goals. I don't think known that Fabianski's actually touched the ball yet, has he? Apart from to pick the ball out of his net twice.
Right there. I think you're right there. Just watching a move sort of break down there where Masuaku got into a promising position on the left-hand side of the box and tried to pull the ball back, but it got blocked out. Yeah, it's as if I hate to hark back to that Leicester game, but just somebody tell them we're playing Leicester, and that would actually, yeah, if we play like that, then we're ready for it. But no, it's very dispiriting.
Yes, not particularly, but I suppose if we're looking for sort of small shreds of comfort, Pinky, was it not 3 or 4 years ago we went to the Lane and were 2-0 down after a similarly, well, not quite as bad as this, obviously, but we came back to win that day 3-2. So who knows? Maybe lightning will strike twice. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened, but it's just disappointing that we've gifted this to Tottenham because, you know, let's not kid ourselves. This isn't a great Tottenham team. You know, I mean, admittedly, they've won the league as recently as 60 years ago. You know, they've won a trophy this century, and so that'll give you an idea of the vintage of the Tottenham lineup. This isn't a great Tottenham team by any stretch, and to give them a 2-goal start, we're just making it hard work for ourselves. But we're bursting forward now. Antonio turning, and again, Spurs concede the free kick. Yet another team struggling to contain Antonio, which is encouraging, given the fact that we've got nothing on the bench to bring on as a natural striker.
Yeah, I wanted to come to that actually right at the start. That was going to be one of my first questions. 48 hours ago, the transfer window closed. Here we are in a huge London derby against one of our fiercest and most bitterest rivals. We go into the match, Rio, without a single recognised striker in the team. Of course, Michail Antonio has been scoring goals for fun, so he's doing a very good impersonation of one. But with Haller apparently injured, you know, within the last 24 hours, as Pinky says, not a striker in the entire squad. Is that right?
No, it's completely wrong. And as we've seen, I know he wasn't particularly a fantastic fab, bless him, but Georgian Hugo appearing for Norwich yesterday, Alvin Jetty banging in goals up north for Celtic. Surely one of them two could have done a filling job if necessary today. We're kind of struggling. If Antonio does pull up, we're left basically with either Jared Bowen fulfilling the lone striker role or Andrei Yarmolenko. And as much as I love both of them, they're not natural centre forwards, particularly in the mould of Antonio at the moment, or even Haller. So yeah, let's just pray we don't get an injury.
Yeah, I guess Gnome that you know, if there is a problem with Antonio, Yarmolenko's I'd say natural choice. It's a poor choice of words, really. But
not many
the next one in the list. Yeah, exactly.
Not many options there. We are enjoying a fair bit of possession in the Spurs half at the moment, and it's just obviously, as Pinky alluded to, you've got to try and break a Mourinho side down there. But there's been some promising little positions on the left-hand side. As we're in the centre now, Bowen plays the ball through. Is Antonio? I don't know what happened there. I think Antonio tried to get the shot away and it did come off him. It's not a corner. Weak shot in the end, but it was again promising move. We're playing some promising stuff going forward. I think VAR might have had something to say about that one had anything happened, but in the end it came to naught. But
I guess one of the advantages.
We're not looking too bad. It's just defensively, I worry about us at the moment.
Yeah, well, hasn't that always been the concern? You know, that we've looked like a top quality squad going forward, but defensively, we've always looked a little bit lightweight, and you know, nothing really. All right, we brought Kufal in. Dawson's coming on loan from West Brom, but we haven't really strengthened an awful lot, I guess, Breeze, at the back, have we? In the transfer window.
No. And again, I think we needed a left back. I'm not convinced by Kufal. I know he had a good debut game, but he's looked massively out of position and massively off the pace this game. Part of the problem we've got this game is that Spurs are playing a 3-5-2, which is kind of hampering our way of playing, where we try and play with the wing backs high up the pitch. Because obviously, if the ball comes forward, they've got 2 against 2 at the back. Our players are actually struggling to get their heads around this system at the moment and trying to figure out how to counter it. But you're absolutely right. I think, you know, the money from Diagana was meant to be spent on centre backs and strengthening defence. What do? We brought in a kind of second-rate player on loan. As much as you like Dawson as a person, you know, he was kind of a really bad player for Watford last year. We bought Kufal from the Czech Republic for 5 million. To me, again, it smacks of another transfer window where we've gone for headlines rather than what we needed.
Yeah. Yes, a lot of discontent. The outcome of the window, and I'm sure there's going to be an awful lot more today if things don't improve here. But of course, it is early days. It is Tottenham 2, West Ham United 0. We're 15 minutes into the game. 2 very early goals. Son in the first minute, 45 seconds actually on the clock, when Tottenham took the lead, and Harry Kane doubling the home side's advantage after 8 minutes with a strike from just outside the penalty box that left Lucas Fabianski flat-footed and unable to move. Rio will go to the Forum very, very shortly if we can. That should be interesting, just to see what people are saying there. A couple of comments coming in. First few comments coming in on YouTube. Hobo, welcome, Hobo. Good to see you on here again. Says, bloody hell, can we start again? Yeah, it'd be good if we could jump in a time machine of some sorts and go back quarter of an hour, wouldn't it? But there you go. Ionizer says, TV off, can't watch this crap. I'm hoping Ionizer is referring to...
Oh, it's 3-0 Tottenham.
Pinky?
Christ.
Yeah, it's 3-0. I mean, again, you know, a simple move, they play the ball out left, cross into the middle, and Harry Kane just buries it. I mean, this is embarrassing stuff now. This is schoolboy defending of the very worst kind. They are cutting us to shreds. Everything coming down the same side all the time. You know, Kufal, it got sucked in a bit, but heavens above. We had enough players back to deal with that awful defending. Awful.
An absolutely dreadful start. Pitiful from West Ham United. The third goal added in the 16th minute. The goal actually coming, Gnome, from Angelo Ogbonna sort of misplaced pass. Comfortable in possession in our own third, just gave the ball away and sort of looked for Declan Rice, lost possession, and 30 seconds later, it's in the back of the net and it's 3-0 Spurs.
Yeah, can't really add much to that. It's embarrassing because, as Pinky said, this isn't a great Spurs side, and and oh bless them, they do like raising their game against us, don't they?
Well, of course, we know it's their cup final, of course, and looks like they're going to win something today. 3-0.
It's embarrassing. Yeah, it's
embarrassing, ridiculous. We've got some words for you today. Breeze, what's going on? 3-0, 16 minutes gone.
Well, just watch the replay of the goal again, and Ogbonna and Cresswell are both ball watching. The ball comes over the top. They're not watching for players around them, and Kenya's almost unmarked at the back post. It just comes to the ball. It's shambolic. It really is. And for as much as you can say about David Moyes being a non-attacking manager, his strength has always been in organising teams at the back. And today we just look all over the place. I don't know if that's a hangover from the international break, as Rio says, or whether we're just not coping with this system of having 2 strikers against us up front. But I can only see us getting worse. I mean, this is kind of almost Liverpool territory now, isn't it?
Well, it just seems like every time Tottenham go forward at the moment, Pinky, they're scoring a goal. It's scoring at will. Three chances, 3 goals.
Will, although I've had a couple of messages come through that point out that Ben Mahama could have saved a couple of those goals, which, just goes to show how well targeted our transfer expenditure's been under Mr. Sullivan. And yeah, we go on and on and on about it, but who is signing the players? I haven't seen anything really positive from David Moyes about where the bulk of our transfer money was spent, and it's really obvious here now where the problems are. And are the players who've signed going to solve those problems? Getting turned over here by 3 goals in 20 minutes by Tottenham? Awful.
Yeah, foot in.
It is very, very. It's just hugely disappointing. I guess I come back to what I said about 10 minutes ago, is that there's still quite a long way to go, and you never know. Forget the 3-2 at the Lane a few years back. We're now going back to 2009, 2010, whenever it was, and the Scotty Parker inspired halftime team talk when we were 3-0 down against the Albion at the Hawthorns and got back to 3-3. We've got a hope, I suppose, given what's happened so far. We've got little else. Briz, 3-0, 19 minutes gone. What do we do now?
Antonio's just been booked for a pretty late tackle on Son, I think. So again, let's just make it even more difficult for ourselves. For me, I'd take Masuaku off, and Fornals does a much better job of defending in that kind of drop into left back role. I'd take Masuaku off. Believe it or not, I bring Noble on in midfield. I pack the three behind in front of the defenders, play Fornals and Bowen, drop them deeper, and leave Antonio up on his own. We might as well try and stop conceding anymore and hopefully catch him on the break, because I can't see us doing anything this game with this formation.
Yeah, it's certainly not working so far, is it? Antonio, as Briz mentions there, Gnome in the book. The first one cautioned today in the 20th minute for, well, I'm not sure, it wasn't even really a foul, was it? Really kind of looked to slide in and win the ball, realised clearly that he wasn't going to get it, tried to pull out, and I didn't catch the Spurs player, but just fell over his legs, and it's a yellow card.
It was Song. There wasn't any contact. Song sort of jumped over it, but immediately went down to clutches, and as is the norm, if you go down clutching your ankle, that'll normally get a card. And still another long ball, sort of quick ball, nearly sort of caught us cold there again. It's these 11 players have started the last two games, and it's like send them away to their own countries for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, and they come back and it's like, well, you've never met. It looks like 11 players who've been introduced to each other for the first time today.
Well, that is an interesting point. This is the team that beat Wolves 4-0. This is the team that went to Leicester and won 3-0. Why are they performing so badly today?
Rio says the international break has really sort of taken all momentum out of the team. When you've won 2 on the trot like that, you want the next game to come tomorrow, don't you? I mean, yeah. Anybody who's played who knows that if you keep winning, you can't wait till the next game.
Mm-hmm.
But that won't have helped.
But of course, it was the same for Tottenham. I mean, they've had the same break.
I'm just focusing on David Moyes there. I was just wondering, could he go somewhere up the road and phone it in? And now, what's happening here? There's a free kick been given. For what I know not. The referee went running across. Oh, he went for his pocket, but I think it's just a spray. Yeah. So I really don't know what the free kick was for, but Spurs have got a free kick, wide right. Song's over the ball. We have a one-man wall, if you can call it that. That's probably a brick, isn't it? One-man wall, which is 4 nails. And everybody else is gathered just outside the 6-yard box. I fear for this, I really do.
Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Song whips it in. It's come off of Bonner. Balbuena adds to the clearance. Antonio's done it, and we come away. Fornals runs into traffic, and it's Sissoko's gone down clutching his head, so we get a bit of a breather anyway.
Okay.
We should spare a thought for Eric Lamela, by the way, who's not in the squad today. Clearly, that vicious assault on him last week the other week at Manchester United was more serious than it looked.
Yeah, evidently. We're going to go now to the match thread on the KUMB Forum for the first time. We haven't had a chance yet. We're more than halfway through the first half, and this is the first opportunity we've had to see what. I can imagine it's pretty busy over there today, Rio. What's the latest?
It's actually not as busy as you would think. I think everyone's in a bit of a
kind of
state of shock. Rather predictably, though, there isn't much love in the air. I was put they'd get 15 or 20 the way we're defending against Son and Kane, which I can't disagree with at the moment. Hammerman 2004. Thank God we've invested in a decent centre back over the window. And WITD has put exactly what I said. Balbuena is the wrong start of this game. His son is going to love playing against him.
Yeah.
It's basically just bemoaning our defence, bemoaning Balbuena, and bemoaning the positive options we have on the entire squad, really. But defensively, we look woeful, and it doesn't take anyone on the forum really to point that out, does it?
Not really. Adrian Hammer also pointing out there's the proof we needed a centre back and a left back. Something lots of people were clamouring for from the start. I'm just seen a shot of Gareth Bale there, Pinky, on the screen a few seconds ago. I didn't realise he had such lovely teeth to go with all that lovely hair on top of his head. And that's about the kindest thing I can think to say at the moment.
He's had plenty of time to get his teeth fixed because he hasn't been playing all that much, has he? You know, and the worry for me here, I mean, you asked the question about, it's the same team that won against Leicester and so forth. How can it be so bad today?
Yeah.
Quite simply, we've been out-tacticked by Mourinho. You know, every single club does it. Every single club has video analysts, and they would have pinpointed the channel in between Valbuena and Kufal. They know Kufal will charge forward, stick the ball behind Valbuena and put Son in the chase. Twice in the opening 5 minutes, to do the same move. That is straight off the training ground, and that is Mourinho and his team doing a good job. Unfortunately for David Moyes, he doesn't have the options, you know, and you know, I could criticise him all afternoon and say, well, change your lineup, David, and he would say, to what? To who? Yeah. You know, and that brings us back to the transfer window, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking about that an awful lot throughout the course of the afternoon. The fact that you know, we all knew that we needed defensive reinforcements. We got Kufal, who's obviously you know, had a storming debut last week, or 2 weeks ago, should I say, at Leicester, and then Craig Dawson come in, who's been relegated a couple of times recently. Gnome, over to you.
Yeah, shot on target. Antonio headed on, and Fornals took it first time from the edge of the box. Didn't really trouble Lloris, who was right in the right place, but it does count as a shot on target.
First one of the game, I think, for West Ham, isn't it?
Possibly.
I think it's the first shot. Let's have a quick look. In fact, we can tell because I've got the stats here right next to me. Apparently, 3 shots each so far, according to the BBC. Spurs 3 on target, of course, obviously. West Ham just the one on target, that one there. Fornals with that effort. Possession-wise, 67% Tottenham, 33% West Ham. No corners for Spurs, 2 for West Ham. Spurs have committed 2 fouls, West Ham 3. We're approaching the half-hour mark, almost a third of the way through the game. It's been an absolutely desperate start for West Ham United. 3 goals to kneel down inside 16 minutes. The goals coming in the first minute from Son, the 8th minute, and the 16th minute from Kane, grabbing both goals. Briz, looking a bit disconsolate over there, buddy. We need to find something from somewhere. Where's our spark going to come from this afternoon?
I honestly don't know. I mean, Antonio's picked up a yellow now. He's going to have to be. I mean, he was the one responsible for Sissoko going down. He kind of jumped with him at the corner. A little bit with his arm leading. So he was, again, he looked around a bit sheepishly, and I thought, oh God, here we go. It's going to make the afternoon worse. I just can't see where it's coming from. We just look flat. Doesn't seem to be any invention. I mean, Spurs are going through the middle of us at ease at the moment. Souček looks anonymous, and he's usually quite a good engine, running up and down and preventing that ball from coming in. We look a bit disjointed. We've gone back to that old kind of system where we have a midfield and forward line, and we have a defensive line and nothing in between. Our defence and our midfield are sitting really deep, and our attacker playing really high. And it's almost like they're nervous of getting caught, but don't know what to do going forward.
Yeah, it's they look as concerned and as desperate as we are over here. The players on the field, as we said earlier, just totally shell-shocked out there. Good to see Neil Carr joining us on the stream. Neil says, I've turned off watching it and I'm listening to you guys instead now. Well, stick with us, Neil, and hopefully we'll have something to cheer
poor bloke.
as the game goes on. Apparently 16 minutes is the earliest Spurs have led by 3 goals in the Premier League since August 2007, when they scored 3 in the opening 14 minutes against Derby. Noam, over to you. Yeah,
sorry, just Masuaku got caught. Ball played inside him. I think it was Masuaku. Just have a look at it now. I was played inside Ogbonna, but he recovered there, I think. Oh, no, it was Masuaku, sorry. But he recovered well enough to block the cross. But that was, we've got to be awake, and we're not.
No,
good ball, though, played out wide to Kufal. Kufal, he's been pulled up for a foul. Okay. That looks. It was in a good position as well. Just seemed to lack a little bit of pace. and just shoved into the defender on the way.
Yeah, coming back quickly there to thanks, Gnome. Just wanted to come back quickly to Masuaku. Pinky, we've often been critical of Masuaku. So over recent weeks and months, but it's been years really since he first stepped foot inside, first moved to West Ham. He's been given the benefit of the doubt for the last few weeks because he's been excellent in those last two games. But both the fullbacks struggling today. Yeah, I mean, you alluded earlier there to Spurs target in those areas. You think that's something they've looked at and said, that's the weak points. That's where we can make inroads today.
Yeah, I mean, the tactical genius that is my mum would have spotted the weak point in our team, and that's a dirty foul. Tottenham number 5 just hacked him through the back of Bowen there, but it's not difficult to spot where the weak links in our team are. And whilst Masuaku has been excellent going forward the last couple of games, defensively, no one at West Ham United really thinks he's a fullback. I mean, let's be clear about this. And I'm afraid Balbuena at centre back's been exposed. Tottenham have done their homework thoroughly on us today. They really have. Of course, when you've got a starting 11 that is so predictable that David Moyes won't have needed to put a team sheet up anywhere, because the 11 that start would know, well, I'm starting. Well, the opposition kind of get that advantage as well. I'm afraid they've really caught us with no options and no ideas today, because I don't think we're doing very much going forward, and they are bashing us every time they get in our half. They look like they're going to score. They really do.
Yeah, well, they've managed to do it 3 times already. We are just 32 minutes into the game, coming up to 32 minutes gone. Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham United 0. Not the start we wanted, having enjoyed 2 excellent wins prior to the international break a couple of weeks ago. But, it's looking absolutely desperate for West Ham here at the moment. We've had a couple of opportunities, not really tested Spurs at all. But I suppose it's easy to do that, Briz, isn't it? When you're 3-0 down, you're going to be naturally inclined to sit back a little and soak up the pressure, I guess.
Yeah, Spurs look like they're in containment mode now. I was just thinking back actually to the transfer window and thinking, we moaned about the international break, but surely that should have given us the time to get reinforcements in, get them to introduce to the squad and up to speed. I mean, why the hell were we doing a deal for a championship forward at 7 o'clock on deadline day? I mean, that to me is beyond me. Are we really that tight that we were arguing over a few crumbs of personal terms or whatever it was? Why the hell didn't we get our business done earlier and get them integrated into the squad? You can see now we've got no players on the pitch. If Benrahma had been signed in time, then he might have been able to come on and make a difference today. But we haven't got him on the bench even, and it just shows us for what a shambles at times this club can be.
Yeah, I guess the point really is Benrahma, being an attacking player wouldn't have made much difference today, would he? But I mean, I guess you're absolutely right. We're going to be saying this. We said it at the start. We said it a few minutes ago. I'm sure we're going to be saying it for much of the afternoon. This squad clearly needed investment defensively. We brought in Aloni and we spent $5 million on Kufal, when we were led to believe, shall we say, that the vast income from the sale of Grady Diangana would be reinvested in the defence, and that hasn't transpired, has it at all? But it is Tottenham 3, West Ham United 0. Gnome, give us something to be cheerful of, or something to look forward to here. What can you conjure up, buddy?
You get back to me on that one. Well, we keep getting into sort of semi-promising positions, particularly down the left-hand side.
Okay.
But time and time again, that final ball is just simply not there. And it's frustrating. And of course, when we're on the attack, it's like we're always keeping one eye on them sort of breaking on the counter with 3 or 4 passes.
Yep.
And as we lose the ball again in midfield, Tottenham going down. Well saved, Fabianski.
Pinky, take us up on that one.
Yeah, I mean, an absolute peach of a ball played in by Tottenham Hotspur right into the corridor of uncertainty. fair play to Fabianski. He went in where it hurts. They had Son chasing it in, and on any other day that would have been 4-0. I mean, we were very fortunate there.
Yeah, very, very close to a fourth goal for Tottenham. We're not even at half time yet, Rio. What's going on? We're absolutely falling to pieces out there.
No, look on the bright side. The first 16 minutes, we lost 3-0. The second 16 minutes, we drawn 0-0.
I like it.
Yeah?
Keep talking.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, no, we're getting cut apart at will at times. We just need really to, I don't know, I mean, the game's gone, isn't it? We just needed kind of restore a little bit of confidence, a little bit of faith, and a little bit of belief here. A bit of respectability is what's needed. We just forced a corner now. So hopefully, let's get something from this. Let's build again. There's a couple of comments on the forum just picked up on.
Yep.
Il Martino de Genovese has put, as he tried to tweak the defence, where is the work hard and be compact and give Vardy no space to run into? He's letting Son and Kane do what they want. It's all an absolutely amateurish mess. I'm not doing the next one, or no, actually, the corner's about to come in.
Okay.
Jared Bowen about to take it. And as predictably, nothing happens.
Okay.
Yes, going back to another one. Mr. Subrike.
Yep.
Antonio. Ball's come back out now. Creswell's on the left-hand side. He's got to sling this one in. No, he's trying to beat him for pace down there. What are you doing, Creswell? You ain't that quick.
He's trying to beat him for pace. It's the way you tell him. It's the way you tell him, Rio.
If anything sums up the first half, I guess that's it in that sentence. Cresswell's just tried to beat a defender for pace on the flank. But Rio, my Subrike, you were just going to come back to a comment.
Knocks it past him.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
suddenly.
Oh, God. Oh, well, I'll come back there. Yeah, he said, do we want to give Kane any more space? No one within 10 yards of him. Just then in any direction. We're very poorly set up. Let's try and left back in the next game. Oh, wait. Yeah, so, yeah, no, again. Yeah,
I've just seen the Cresswell.
Bubbles in 1966 also put a valid point.
Yep.
Yeah, Bubbles put 1966 put a valid point earlier. We seem to set up exactly the same team without even thinking about what the opposition are going to do.
Yeah.
Which I can completely understand. You want to keep a winning side, but we have got to take into consideration the opposition. We have to not play into their hands, because Tottenham have actually done us here tactically.
Yeah, they certainly have so far. There's not an awful long way to go yet, but we're still in the first half. Still plenty of time for West Ham to effect a remarkable comeback in the second half. We've seen it before, Breeze. Can we possibly see it again today?
No. There's about 3 players that are putting the effort in out on the pitch today. The rest are kind of all standing back and just kind of strolling around. Rice, Bowen, Antonio are probably the 3 that are actually putting some effort in. Fornals runs around a lot, but he's not done anything today. Mm-hmm. Other than that, everyone else is kind of strolling around. I mean, Masuaku for me has been so poor this game. I'm not sure if he knows what he's trying to do out there. I'm not quite sure if he knows where he's meant to be playing.
Yeah,
he's trying to be left wing. He's meant to come in and cover the left back slot, but he's not doing that at times. And we're just getting carved apart. Every time that Tottenham get the ball, we're kind of standing off them and letting them cut through the middle on us.
Yeah, we're just a few moments ago we just saw replays there of a tackle on Antonio by Big Toby, the Belgian defender. I guess that Sky were looking at a potential penalty, but quite clearly he's won the ball first. And, that's Pinky. That's what we're resorting to this afternoon. Looking for, half chances and penalties. And, we haven't really tested the Tottenham goal at all yet, have we? Or threatened it at all?
No. I mean, nothing like it. And I'm afraid, we've got a long, hard afternoon ahead of us. I'm trying to identify a single player that you'd say is playing, above average for us, and I can't see it. Maybe Antonio, but for my money, the rest of the team is flat. I mean, it really is flat.
Yeah, we've looked at. I mean, we've relied quite heavily on Tommy Souček, haven't we, in recent weeks? Players like that. He's anonymous this afternoon, isn't he? Not the only one, obviously, but I'm just
we've not had the chance to exploit him sort of drifting late into the box and getting on the end of a header, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, because in the main, you know, we've done a lot of defending. The last couple of minutes, we're going forward nicely. Souček on the ball now, finds his teammate Bowen with a short pass. Bowen delivers the cross in, and it's an easy take for Lloris.
Final ball again.
Too easy. I mean, Gnome, if we could get one back before half time, I suppose it changes the game a little bit, you know, in terms of the way Tottenham have to look at the second half, perhaps. Not
really. I think they'll play the way Tottenham look at it will stay the same if it's 3-1 or 3-0.
Okay.
They don't have to change anything, remember. They're 3-0 up.
Sure.
And why would they? I mean, yeah, we're playing into their hands. Why would they change? Why would they change anything? It's going rather swimmingly well for them at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing West Ham can produce so far is paying off at all. Quick look at just going back to the stats again quickly as we approach or enter the final 5 minutes of the opening half here. Spurs possession 60%, West Ham 40. Each team's had 4 shots on goal. Obviously, Spurs have found the net 3 times. West Ham yet to even get close to it. Although West Ham have 2 of those shots have been on target. All 4 of Tottenham's shots have been on target. The 3 goals and that save by Fabianski from Son about 5 minutes ago. Corners, West Ham have had 3 corners. Spurs yet to have a corner. They don't need a corner. They've scored 3 goals from normal play.
Where's the runners? Oh.
Gnome, go on.
Well, Bergwijn was just completely unmarked on the edge of the box and had a terrible shot, thankfully. But it's like he's come from deep and nobody's following the run. So just looking at Fornals, who quite sure what happened there.
Actually, talking about Fornals, though, I mentioned Souček
behind there a little bit.
But Briz, I can almost see Billy Dino on the KUMB Forum talking about Fornals and rubbing his hands together, saying, "I told you so."
Well, I think if we carry on like this, I might have a night off from modding because I can see that going on all night long. I think he's been pushed central to kind of accommodate this weird. Well, again, what we would have done normally is we'd have had Fornals left, Bowen right, Antonio through the middle with probably Lanzini behind him, and we've kind of moved Fornals into that central slot to accommodate Masuaku, who, quite honestly, if I was on Jimmy's farm, I'd be looking around for me chickens because there's a few headless ones running around out there, and he's one of them. And yet again, with just a ball into the middle, and they've just cut us wide open again. There's no support for the fullback positions. We're still trying to play 3 in the middle. Cresswell wild out of position. Kufal has gone missing on a number of occasions, and they're just playing the ball into channels now for fun. And we're lucky if we get away with the ball going over the top too early, and we're getting offside. But it's just amateurish.
Yeah, not good. Rio, we spoke about Benrahma earlier in the half, and we've touched on Fornals there. Do you think he's the player whose position is most under threat from that particular signing, going forward?
Potentially, yeah, but it's something I really can't understand given his form over the last, especially since the restart and towards the end of the resumption it's last season there, isn't it? Confusing you.
Yeah.
He's been in excellent form. And he plays like he loves it, For me, it's a vanity signing, isn't it? I mean, Benrahma obviously looks like a good player, but he wasn't what was needed. We need augmentation at the back desperately. We need a left back. We need a centre back. We need strength and depth in midfield. We didn't need another winger, particularly after saying we sold Diangana because we had 8, and now we get rid of one and let's chip in with another one, just to make the numbers up again. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever. Vanity signing based purely on cheapness and stats based from last year's championship, which whoever's doing our scouting system, which is I presume young Jack on Football Manager, he's basing it on that.
Very, very odd, as you say, Pinky. Touching on what Rio's saying there, we we were in for sort of 2 or 3 centre halves who were valued around the £25 million mark. Obviously, Tarkowski was a little bit out of that zone, but it does. I mean, Rio does have a point there, does he not? That the money's clearly there to spend, and we've gone out and bought another winger. And again, a very valid point that Rio makes. David Sullivan stating, 5 weeks ago or so that we didn't need all those wingers in the squad. We've bought another one, and we haven't bought the centre half that David Moyes appeared to so desperately desire.
Yeah, and I'm afraid, I alluded to it earlier. Who's actually signing the players? Who's actually making the decisions? Because ultimately, you've got the chairman bidding for, the Burnley lad. Burnley say they want 50 million. Okay, we'll offer you 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're saying 50. Okay, we'll offer you 21. No, we're saying 50. And it goes on and on and on. The chairman then goes on national radio and tells the whole world what our transfer budget is and all that kind of stuff. And it's obvious that there's not a chance that the chairman wanted to spend money on the centre-back position. That's how it looks, and if you're watching this, Mr. Chairman, I apologise if I've said something wrong there, but that's how it looks to me as just a humble supporter. But, ultimately what we've got here is a manager who has had a winger signed when I don't think that was the manager's priority. It's not what the team needed. And I'm going to raise it again. Our manager's out of contract in around 200 days. We haven't heard a single word about a new deal for David Moyes.
Mm-hmm.
We've now got the chairman interfering in transfers again to an absurd degree. And what are we doing? We're 3-0 down at Tottenham. It's not half time yet. And this is the sort of thing that saps the confidence of the players, because does the chairman not realise the players know where we need to strengthen? They're professional footballers. They know where the problems in the team are. The only person who doesn't seem to know is the chairman. That was very, very strange.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what everyone thinks of that. I think we'll come back to that Ben Rama signing again at half time. Gnome, a big gasp of exasperation there, I presume, from the cross that came over and we narrowly missed.
Well, yeah, exasperation's the right word for it. Ball played in and we couldn't get the shot away. Kufal's in a good spot there now. We've got to get the cross in. There's half-time whistle. Can't just mess about with it like that. We've got to get the crosses in earlier, and we've got to get them. We've got to get the crosses in. We had a situation there a few minutes ago where Antonio was having some joy down the wing.
Yeah,
and of course when he did go to put a cross in, but there's no Antonio in the middle for him to cross it to. That's just tactically inept. That 45 minutes or 47 minutes. We've got what we deserved at the moment, because at least 2 more occasions, one just a few seconds ago, where the ball over the top, if Tottenham had actually been any good, would have had another one against us, because Song was sort of completely unmarked in the middle. And it was only the lack of a decent ball that stopped that going in 4-0 down.
Yeah, as it is, as Gnome has rightly pointed out there, the half-time whistle has blown at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is Tottenham 3, West Ham United 0. All 3 goals coming in the opening 16 minutes of the game. We played 47 minutes and 2 seconds in that first half, to be precise. An absolutely dreadful one for West Ham United. One we'll be looking to forget as soon as possible. Welcome to everybody who can bear it this far on the live chat. Good to have you with us. Elsie from the KUMB Forum. Good to see you, Elsie. Elsie says, I'm sure you all agreed to remove an item of clothing each time Tottenham scored. Or did I just dream that? Well, Elsie, if you're dreaming of us taking our clothes off, my friend, I'm concerned for you. I really am. But anyway.
In order to spare our viewers, I'll agree to put something on every time Spurs.
This afternoon's miserable enough without us declaring. God.
There you go. Well, it's good to know we can all still laugh after an abject performance from West Ham United in the first half. Rio, should we go over to the KUMB match thread and see what's happening there on the forum, and what's the verdict from everyone? Are you ready to go, or do you want a couple of minutes? Shall I come back to you?
No, that's fine. I've got a couple of things lined up.
Okay, let's go.
Just bearing out what we was discussing about 4-0s a moment ago, Floydie Hammer's put, I do like seeing 4-0's quick passing, always know where players are, and he's probably our best chance for unlocking this Tottenham team. Unfortunately, Moyes just wants Souček to be a new Fellaini. Iron Man 83's put, Kufel seems to really struggle with the pace of the game today, and Antonio's first touch seems to have vanished again, annoyingly too. And Bubbles 1966 kind of backs up what Pinky was saying earlier. The odd thing is that they've looked vulnerable at the back. Ogbonna's now playing like a man with a hump with his teammates. Diop needs to come on. There's stuff there. I mean, now we'll probably discuss this a bit more in a couple of minutes. But yeah, the actual forum is understandably annoyed and frustrated. And as soon as I can get another connection on the next page, I'll bring up some more stuff.
Okay, we'll come back to you in just a minute then. For anyone who doesn't know, Elsie Last Caress, of course, one of our most prolific posters in the music, film and TV forum on KUMB. Writes some absolutely fantastic reviews of film and TV. Always a good read over there, Elsie. So if you want to get away from the football for a little while, take a look at our music, film and TV forum and just see what's going on in there. Half-time here. It is Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham United 0. A quick look at the half-time match stats. Possession-wise, Tottenham 58% to West Ham's 42 shots, 5 shots each, interestingly enough, though West Ham, of course, yet to hit the net. 4 of 5 of Tottenham's shots on target compared to West Ham's 2 out of 5. Spurs still yet to have a corner. No corners for Tottenham in the first half, and West Ham had 3 that came to nothing. Fouls-wise, Tottenham conceded 5. West Ham conceded 7. It's about this point that we usually start looking towards the second half and discuss what we would do in terms of perhaps making changes. I'm going to start with Pinky. I think, Pinky, we've, it's certainly not working anyway, what we've got out there at the moment, is it? So, if you're David Moyes, you've got David Moyes' shoes on. What are you going to be thinking about at half-time and who are you going to bring on?
I hate to say it, but an element of damage limitation. 3-0 is a bad result, 5-0 is an awful result, and 7-0 would tank our season effectively. So part of what you've got to do is, for goodness sake, don't concede the next goal. Let's be clear about that. I'd have to hook Balbuena. I'm afraid they're exposing his lack of pace with the ball over the top. Here'd be one change. I think Briz called it right earlier. We need to beef up midfield. I mean, I'm going to say it again, and at the risk of incurring the wrath of people that will produce an army of stats and a whole cannon of numbers to say I'm wrong. I'm not convinced that Declan Rice is playing his best football at the minute. I'm not convinced he's played his best football this season.
Yeah,
he still looks a touch leggy to me. If that kind of makes sense, he looks like he's half a yard off the pace. I'm happy to be proven wrong with all the stats. But this is too easy for Tottenham, and whilst we can all put the finger on Balbuena and maybe Kufal down one channel, I'm afraid, where are we really imposing our will on them? Having said that, the last 10 minutes of the first half, we were spending plenty of time in and around the edge of the Tottenham box.
Yeah.
So, all is not lost, but it's just the fact that whenever they break forward, they just look like they're going to score. And so whatever David Moyes does, make sure we don't concede the next goal. That's the number one priority. If we get a goal back, then the players might start to think they can snatch a draw, because I'm not convinced this is a good Spurs team. We've touched on that already. But, the goal, they're just showing the replay of the Harry Kane shot that where he nutmegs Rice and then just gets a shot off. That'll be in Kane's easiest goals of the season list, no question. So stop them going in. That's priority number one for me.
Okay, thank you, Pinky. Gnome, what do you do at halftime?
I get a large drink, I think. No, it is, as Pinky says, it's damage limitation.
Yeah.
I was just watching the third again. It's just everybody's looking at everybody else, and I mean, Pinky's mum and her tactical analysis. Pinky's mum could have put that one away.
She was devastating. She was devastating number 9. No, I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, I mean, they're just showing one of our sort of few, if you like, chances where Kufo's come in and Kane's just thrown himself in front of it. And okay, I mean, Kane, no sense, no feeling, but you want 1/10 of that sort of commitment from our players. We're just simply not getting it.
Can we just get a name? Can we have a look at that third goal? I mean, I know it's not his fault entirely, but just like you, I've just watched the replay there, and I've just seen as that ball's drifted in towards the far post, Arthur Masuaku's just loitering on the edge of the corner of the penalty spot.
Yeah,
apparently not interested at all.
It's just you've got to be aware. You've got to okay, the ball's not near you, but you've got to be aware of those players who are. You've got to track the runs, and we're simply not doing that. And every time an attack breaks down, and because we're not actually getting that final ball and we're not doing very well in the final third, the attacks are breaking down. Every time it's breaking down, you've got to turn around and say, okay, where's my danger area?
Yeah.
What have I got to do to stop them doing what they did with the first goal?
Okay.
3 passes and,
yeah, I mean, so Pinky's said we should be looking at Balbuena and Rice maybe at half time. Who are you going to be hiking off, if anyone?
I'd definitely go Diop and Balbuena swap.
Yeah.
It's Balbuena just got. There were 2 things. One, he had half a yard on Son.
Yeah, the first goal, yeah.
And so there's the lack of pace there. And then secondly, when they sort of regrouped on the edge of the box. He just stayed 2 yards away from Son. I mean, it's perfect. How many times have you seen him do that?
Well, we saw this. I mean, I think it was you who mentioned it earlier. Leicester last week. The goal that was disallowed from Leicester is very, very similar. The only other chance I think they had again towards the end of the second half, it was a ball played in behind Balbuena, and he was beaten for pace, wasn't he? Yeah. So the warning signs have been there.
Yeah, but I mean, the Leicester thing. We allowed that to happen once, twice last week or week before last, whenever it was. It was something that we'd obviously played for and trained for in the weeks, days leading up to Leicester. Yeah. Now, we've had an international break, so they've only been back since Thursday or Friday. But surely you won't have forgotten what you were doing 2 weeks ago in that length of time. I mean,
well, no, you wouldn't have thought so, would you? So you've got Balbuena, you've got Diop for Balbuena. Anyone else you'd be looking at?
I mean, at the moment, it's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yeah, of course, of course. What do you think about Declan Rice? I mean, would you perhaps be looking to bring Noble in to try and offer a bit of stability?
It's the job that Rice and Souček should be doing themselves, really.
Should be. Yeah.
I mean, I know Rice isn't. As I say, as Pinky said, he's not been at the races today. I thought he'd improved a lot over the last few weeks. I thought he played very well for England in midweek. But I mean, you can see Noble coming on in midfield, if only just to have one player in there who will be sitting there thinking, hang on, this is Tottenham. I want this.
Yeah.
I mean, and that itself might sort of add a bit of sort of spine to the team that we seem to be lacking at the moment.
Okay, good stuff. Pinky, you were just going to come in there on a point.
Yeah, just twice in that first half, Tottenham used Son as an outball. Son was placed centrally about 7 or 8 yards outside their penalty area.
Yeah.
And clearly their plan was just get the ball to him. And on 2 occasions, he ran fully 40 yards straight up the middle of the park, no one laying a glove on him. And I'm sorry, if you're going to play with so-called 2 holding midfielders, one of them's got to be the player that's saying, no, you're not making 40 yards, son. You're not even making 4 yards. Yeah. Their job is to stop him before he even gets a sprint on. And that's the job that hasn't been done today. And I keep coming back to it. Mourinho has absolutely mullered David Moyes today tactically. And I don't think it's because David Moyes doesn't know what he's doing. I think it's that David Moyes doesn't have any options. And that's where we are. Okay,
good stuff. Just quickly looking at what we've got on the bench today. We've got Randolph, Ryan Fredericks back on the sidelines. Diop, of course, we spoke about. Noble, we spoke about. Bobby Snodgrass Probably not exactly riddled with pace, but he's on there. Lanzini and Yarmolenko, our only options. No Sebastian Haller, who we understand has sustained a minor injury within the last 24 hours, was certainly involved during the week at Rush Green, but was intended to make the 18-man match day squad, but hasn't appeared today. So no natural striker either in the starting 11 or on the bench. Do let us know what you think of the first half and what you would do as far as changes is concerned on the live chat here on YouTube or also on the KUMB Forum match thread. Rio, we've been speaking about these potential changes at halftime. We're going to make you David Moyes for the next 10 minutes. What are you going to do, boss?
If I'm David Moyes, I'm not making a change until 85, am I? So,
fair point.
Personally, I'd go a little bit left field here.
Okay.
I'd hook Masuaku and put Yarmolenko on. Go forward at the back. The extra man in midfield, because they're actually doing this in midfield. They've got a man over every single time, just pulling us apart left, right, and centre.
Okay.
I just noticed watching the replay of the Kane. I think it was the second goal. They pulled us apart, and Ogbonna was on the right hand side of the back four, and Balbuena on the left. So they've obviously enough movement to drag both our centre backs out of position.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said I'd go a little bit of field, Masuaku off, Yarmolenko on, gives another attacking option. Fornals can drop back a little bit. I mean, Arthur's not covering himself in glory. I don't think Balbuena's had a stinker, but I don't think changing him at the moment is the answer. I mean, what we do need is a bit more attacking impetus and a bit more cleverness and extra men in midfield to stop them advancing at will and cutting us apart. For me, that'd be the main change.
Okay,
then
good stuff.
Possibly Noble or Snodgrass a bit later because either Rice and Souček haven't been at the races today.
No, they've certainly not been involved so far, have they? So a 4-5-1 for Rio for the second half. Briz, finally in this little section, come round to you, buddy. Been sitting there patiently waiting for your opportunity to have some input there. Pinky says Balbuena and potentially Rice come off. Gnome tends to agree, definitely Balbuena. A switch there, and perhaps Diop coming on. Rio thinks we should switch to four at the back and bring Yarmolenko in for Masuaku and drop Fornals back to sort of give us that kind of triangle, I guess, in midfield with Rice and Souček. What are you thinking, buddy? What are you thinking down there?
I'd go for a more flexible 4-5-1. I agree with Rio. I don't think changing Balbuena at this stage of the game is going to make much difference. Watched all the goals back, and we recall basically the difference between Leicester and Spurs are that Spurs are playing with two up front, Leicester are playing with one.
Yeah.
My view would be I'd bring Noble on for Masuaku, play the three holding midfielders, Fornals and Bowen deeper, but countering, going up further up forward, and leave Antonio up top. I think it's all about damage limitation. I look at our bench and even think our bench is pretty poor. And, you're almost scraping the bottom of the barrel when you look at the bench. Yeah. So, I'd bring Noble on straight away from Masuaku, try and bulk up that middle. But I can't see this. I can only see this going one way, and it's not to us, unfortunately.
Okay, that's what the guys think here. We are underway. The second half has kicked off at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think we're at the point now, chaps, where I don't know if you remember playing as a kid on a Sunday morning, and if you were getting a good humping in the first half, your manager would always tell you at half time, "It's 0-0 from here, lads. Let's start again." So. I guess that's the approach we've got to take here in the second half. It's 0-0. Forget those three first half goals. Forget Son's opening goal in the 45th second or whatever it was, and the two from Harry Kane. We go again. Let's see Pinky at least if we can win the second half, eh?
Well, now we know what Jose Mourinho said to Tottenham. Forget it. It's still 0-0, lads. Go and score a hatful. I mean, all we could do is try and get something back, but I think it's important we don't ship more.
Yeah.
One of the positives so far this season, we've got a positive goal difference still, which always helps. It's a good sign. So just from professional pride, don't be shipping 4 or 5 goals, not against Tottenham. Try and nick something. Personally, ultimately, I might have gone 4-1, 4-1, something like that. But but it's very, very clear to me Balbrena should have been hooked, because they'll do it again. They'll absolutely do him again.
Okay, we shall, of course, see what happens. 2.5 minutes gone. West Ham have lasted longer in the second half. We're looking for positives. There's one. We haven't conceded in this half yet. We'd already shipped one in the first half at this point. But it is Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham United 0. Desperate stuff, really, for West Ham. We're trying to make light of it, but of course, it really isn't any laughing matter. West Ham getting good hiding at the moment at over at Tottenham, where, quite frankly, we've had some decent results in recent years, haven't we, Briz? We've come over here and, you know, we've had a few wins, perhaps not at this exact stadium, but on this turf anyway.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, no, I tend to. That's right. We've just had a really good ball into the box, and two players absolutely completely missed it up.
Okay.
With good chance to actually get a goal back here, and we've just been an absolute mess of it. And I think it's Souček misses the first one, and Masuaku scores a try. Sorry, conversion, not sure. But oh god. But yeah, you know, I look back at the kind of the Ravel Morrison game, you know, where we won the goal to kind of win us the game there. And you know, you look back over the years and think we've always made a really good fight of it. Helped, of course, by the 12th man, which was the fans, and really making a difference. I mean, I'm in a way, I'm kind of glad that the fans aren't there today to say stick, because we've been absolutely appalling. But you're right, we just look like we're going through the motions out there, and he needs to change it up. But I'm with Rio. I don't think he's going to make a change until, you know, 65, 75 minutes maybe. And even then it'll just be a kind of like for like, and he just looks lost for ideas on the. I can't see how we're going to get back into this. I really can't.
Yeah, well, we again, we're looking for little, you know, little things to be enthused by. And first shot of the second half goes to West Ham. Souček, Rio making an absolute comedy hash of the attempt at the first shot, trying to hook it in, and it kind of reminded me of like England's middle order in the 1990s in the Ashes against every Ashes series against Australia, completely missing the ball, and then Masuaku having the shot that kind of curled away and over the bar, but. You know, some promising signs, perhaps. You know, looks like we've had a bit of a rocket up our backside at half time anyway from the coaching team.
Yeah, we've
Rio, talk us through it.
We just cut through the left-hand side. I think it was Antonio. Oh, Jesus. He's cut in. He's let a shot come go across. He's kind of flicked up the Fornells, and Fornells has got an open goal. Absolute open goal. All he's got to do is get his head on it and knock it in. Unfortunately, he's got under it by about an inch, and it's another conversion.
And we go live to Billy Dino in East London for his opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, I told you.
That was like. I've just found a couple of posts on the forum which was surprisingly positive in light of the 3-0 half-time deficit.
Yep.
And that is just knocked the stuffing out of me. Yeah, funky chicken put. The odd thing is, as atrocious as we have been defensively, attacking-wise, we've actually played really well, I thought. Especially in the 20 minutes before half-time. I thought we'd play some nice attacking football. We just simply needs to be more ruthless and have a go. And what happens? We have that chance, and we absolutely spurn it.
What a chance!
And also another one from Mayday, who thought,
yep.
Well, I think we're the better team and look dangerous when we attack. They have had only 3 proper shots and unfortunately scored 3 great goals with them. The other difference is we're not sticking to the balls going up. They're not sticking to big Mike like in previous games, and they're doing a proper number on 4-0s. And yeah, I'm much as I love 4-0s, I might do a number in myself up that miss. Jesus,
we're all converting to the Church of Billy Dino at the moment. No, what an opportunity for West Ham that was. How did he miss it?
So he got underneath it. It's simple as that. It was. He really needed to have jumped a lot higher to get over it, and we've just lost the ball in midfield. Song's just turned. He's still got the ball, but Ogbonna comes in with a crunchy tackle. But Kane's on the ball now, has a shot, and it's Rosed. Yeah, up to that point where Spurs have just had an effort because we lost the ball in midfield trying to dribble past 20 players. all joking apart, it hadn't been that bad a start to the second half for us.
Well,
Had
two shots in the first 4 minutes. Definitely good.
Well, two sort of. Well, yeah, the second one of which was, cast iron quality chances. We're going forward again now, and which Masuaki plays the ball left to Cresswell. First time cross in, headed away for a corner. See, we're looking promising. It's just that final ball in. You were saying earlier on, you've got your school kids team, and the manager's saying, right, well, it's 0-0. I think we need Mike Summerby from Escape to Victory. Yeah, come on, guys. It's only 3-0. We can still win this.
Yeah, well, I think a couple of our defenders might not look out of place in that team anyway. The way they've played so far this afternoon, but it's a bit more promising this half. We seem to be have a little bit of attacking impetus and going for it a little bit perhaps, but Pinky, surely we've left it too late to get anything out of this game now, haven't we? It's going to be a minor miracle if we pull this back.
No. I'm seeing grounds for optimism here. In all seriousness, if you take the first 10 minutes of this half, so to speak, and the last 20 of the first half, I actually think we have been the better team. I mean, in all seriousness, that might be a touch of Tottenham taking the foot off the gas.
Mm-hmm.
We've given away 3 soft goals, and that's going to take the stuff out of any side. But I keep saying this is not a great Tottenham team. They've got 1 or 2 better options than we've got. But I think certainly the last 20 minutes, we're in control of this football game. So it ain't over yet. The fat lady is not even clearing her throat in my place. Next goal could be very interesting.
Well, let's hope it's a claret and blue one and gives us something to get a little bit excited about, because it's been pretty desperate so far. But I think, as Pinky rightly says there, ended the first half well. We said perhaps about the team coming out with a bit of renewed hope, perhaps having been given a bit of a rocket up the backside at half time. Gnome?
Sorry, Fornell's just found Bone with a great ball. And got a header there that's been blocked. A couple of hands have gone up to perhaps one of these modern penalties. But again, Spurs have cleared it with a long ball from the back, and it's found Song, and suddenly we're back foot again. And Rice comes back, gets a foot in, but we're still under pressure now, because we always look sort of just as we're at our most dangerous. Then we get caught on the break again. So, but yeah, there was a lovely ball from Fornells out to Bowen, and there's a bit of gap in play for them to show the replay. Otherwise, I'd like to have a look at that header. But that's going through to Fabianski. They'll probably show something in a second. But it's been a lot more promising second half.
Great ball by Rice.
What a lovely ball from Rice.
Pinky?
And Bowen's just been that. Oh, come on, referee. Bowen's just been thrown to the floor.
Breeze, talk us through that one. I'll just come to you for a recap there.
Well, I was just... It's stunning, really, because it was, it's one of those Hong Kong Fooey moments. So they basically chopped the, how we don't get a free kick for that, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'd like to see it again, but absolutely hurls him to, here's the ball now. So Bowen's got the ball, and he's literally, there's an arm in the back, and he's rammed to the floor. It's a nailed-on free kick, which, dear me. The referee's got a clear line of sight. How he's not giving that, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, it's Rio. That's bizarre, that one, isn't it? I mean, there's potential there for a red card if the referee, pulls that one back. Perhaps, maybe he's running away from goal.
I only think that the VAR is looking at the NFL on the Sky Sports NFL channel 408 rather than 401 at the moment, because that was a tackle right out of the Broncos v Giants game rather than what we're watching at the moment. And it's just,
it's not even a tackle, is it? He's just coming from the side and shoved him on the front.
No, it's pure assault in footballing terms, and it's just come at the wrong time. We've been on the front foot. We've seen half advance into the penalty box about 5 minutes ago. That chance of Fornells, which was criminal. I mean, we've been on the front foot for the first, since the resumption this second half, and we've actually looked really good. We haven't had a real opportunity.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's just come up now in the action areas, 40% in their final third.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can keep it.
It sounds unlikely, but I think next goal wins.
We'll take that. Let's hope we can keep the ball up there. Pinky, over to you quickly for a quick comment. You were coming in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the stats have just bunged up on screen. You know, the action areas, 40% of the games going on in the Spurs half, or the final third, and we are much better this half. No doubt about it. And it just goes to prove, if you give away soft goals at this level, it costs you. It really does. As does not taking your chances. And in fairness, we've had 3 or 4 chances. We've not managed to convert them to goals. 4-0's been the obvious one that he headed it over. But this game ain't over yet. There's still plenty in it. We've got half an hour to go. And, you might think Rio's joking with next goal wins it, but stranger things have happened.
Well, let's hope something pretty strange is going to happen this afternoon. Amazing stat, that one, isn't it? 40% of the ball in Tottenham's final third, 52% in the central third, and only 8% at our end of the pitch. But as we all keep pointing out, Tottenham do have 3 goals in the bank. Gnome, and we are yet to score, but some good signs anyway this half. We're definitely looking a lot better since the interval.
I just get exasperated at the match officials. Congratulate the match officials there for not spotting the blatant push on Bowen there, and yet 3 seconds later managing to pick out a foul throw. Priorities, eh?
Well, what did you make of that incident? I mean, it's a clear foul, isn't it, on Bowen? Surely.
The only question should have been, should it be yellow or red? And that would have been a yellow, because he's moving away from the goal. But there's no to the place. He's actually pushed him. It's not a question of, was it shoulder to shoulder or whatever. As Antonio is making a nuisance of himself out on the right hand side of the Tottenham box, waiting for support though. I don't think he's got any, and does well. We would have throw in there, but Antonio, bless him, has got the look on his face of someone who realised at the moment he's on a hiding at nothing.
Okay. We are, of course, an hour into the match, 2/3 of the way through. Now, Tottenham lead 3-0, unfortunately, at the moment. All 3 goals coming in the opening 16 minutes of the first half. The first goal coming from Son after just 45 seconds. And then Harry Kane scoring in the 8th and the 16th minute to put Tottenham into what appears to be an unassailable position. But as Pinky keeps saying, you never know. There's stranger things happen at sea, as they say. Briz, we're into the final half an hour now. Does David Moyes need to start looking at potential changes, or is he, like us, going to be a little bit happier about what he's seen since half time?
Well, I think the positives for us is that their best defender has been Harry Kane since half time. He's been in the back, headed everything away, winning everything. We've looked much better when we've had Antonio out on the wing, actually playing and running at the defenders. If only we had a winger or 8 that we could bring on. So, I mean, I know we said about consolidating at half time. I actually think we could try and get something out of this by being a bit more positive now. And again, I just think maybe, go back to Rio's point at half time, maybe Yarmolenko now from Masuaku, who hasn't really done anything this whole second half. Again, good save from Fabianski there from a shot from Kane. To come on, might just mix things up enough, because Spurs look like they're quite content to sit back and soak it up. And I think we're good enough, if they do that, to actually unlock them and get something out of it.
Okay.
Kane has just ran, 30 yards there without anybody even bothering to go towards him. Everybody's backed off. He's had that space to run into. Nobody even got across to make him sort of think about the run, which is why Fabianski's had to make a save. I think that's probably Tottenham's first effort this half. Certainly, I think it's their first corner of the game.
I think you're right. I think it is their first. Actually, Kane might have had a shot earlier in the half, didn't he, that he put into Rose Ed? But
right, yeah, you're right.
It's the first one on target, I think. Anyway, so good stuff from West Ham, but we still need a goal, Rio. We haven't scored yet. We need to get one in the in the onion bag and put a little pressure. Make Tottenham perhaps think again and change the game psychologically, perhaps. But we need that goal desperately, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, that 15-minute spell, we dominated and we needed to capitalise then. I'm going to mention the miss again because it was shocking, and the last 2 pages on the forum have been absolutely castigating him for it. That's all the only chat that's been on there, really. But we really did need to capitalise at that moment. But I would say Arthur drove his way into the box and created a good chance. Souček, ever since he's joined, he's connecting with stuff, and that air miss was another opportunity. Declan playing that ball through. I mean, we're creating, we're doing it, but now Tottenham are just working their way back into it a little bit. So we need to kind of soak it up for the next minute or so, then kind of break at them and hit them with pace like we have been doing with like Wolves and Leicester the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Souček today seems to have finally caught a dose of West Ham, doesn't he? Not really been at the races so far. Been magnificent, of course, since coming into the club back in January. Been a real force in keeping West Ham in the Premier League last season's been excellent so far. But I mean, like a lot of other players, just not really at the races today. We are 64 minutes almost into this game. It's still Tottenham at 3, West Ham United 0. That chance that Rio was referring to just a few moments ago being the Pablo Fornals header. It must have been 3 or 4, 5 yards out. The goal gaping in front of him, what looked like an easy header and a chance to get West Ham back into the game, Pinky, but inexplicably
No.
bar.
Let's be clear here. It wasn't an easy header.
Okay.
The ball came to him very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the criticism Pablo's getting, at least he was in or around the right spot.
Yep.
And credit him that. The reality is, had it been Souček coming at the far stick, he'd have buried it because he'd have been able to stoop to actually head the ball down. Fornals, it was just a bit above him, at the pace the ball was going at. The contact just took it over the top. So I think people are being a bit harsh on Pablo there, and I think when they see the replay at the end, it will be a harder chance than it looked on real-time viewing.
Okay, good stuff. Rio, what are people saying about that chance? Let's dive back into the match thread on the KUMB Forum very quickly if we can, and just see what sort of comments we're seeing.
Yeah, it's things ranging from shouldn't he have scored there? He's missed 6 or 7 sitters since he joined us for 25, 35 grand a week. You expect more from that? Yeah, no, there's not a lot of positivity around Pablo. I mean, I'd love to feel. I think he's a cracking little player.
Yeah.
And sadly, this could be a defining moment in terms of our kind of forum membership because it's very much a check and hides, isn't he? Now, 1 week everyone loves him, 1 week he's got everyone on his back.
Yeah.
And this particular moment could really kind of define where he goes in terms of our support. It's in the modern age. People do jump on little individual errors and like have long memories over it. So I just hope that this doesn't affect him in the long term. Because, sorry, go ahead.
So no, sorry, buddy. I was just going to come in. I was going to say he's one of those players that's kind of very Marmite, isn't he? In terms of you look at his thread on the KUMB Forum, and as you say, if he has a good game, his backers are on there, sort of talking, about how well he's done. The next week he might have put in a poor performance, and then you get some of his detractors come in and sort of more vocal. But he's one of those players that there seems to be no grey area, does there, with Fornals? He's either brilliant or dreadful, and I don't know why some players sort of do that. Or engender those feelings from the fan base, but it strikes me he's very much like that. There's no in between. He's either good or he's terribly bad. Is that fair?
I think he's the victim of his price tag, isn't he? 24
definitely.
£1 million for us is quite a lot of money, and because he didn't hit the ground running and absolutely on all cylinders. Now, I mean, he's a young lad coming from a foreign country. He's going to take the time for him to acclimatise and get used to English football. Yeah. But some people just want instant success and instant gratitude straight away. And because he didn't deliver it in spades initially, I mean, I saw a promising player as soon as I saw him. But because he didn't rip the Premiership alight, for £24 million, people expect far too much nowadays. People got to think, £24 million, that doesn't even get you a place on the Man City bench most of the time.
No, but I mean, he is, of course, still, even today, following the Ben Rama signing, he's still our fourth most expensive player in the club's history, behind Ben Rama, Haller and Anderson. So I guess, Briz, that's why people, expect so much from Fornals. And, when you get an opportunity like that, they expect to see the ball hit the back of the net, despite Pinky quite rightly pointing out that it probably wasn't as easy as it looked, to us here sitting comfortably on our sofas.
I actually think there was a small deflection when the ball's knocked over to him, which takes the ball up into the air. But I'd like to see it again. It's not been replayed quite a lot. For me, if we're 0-0 and he misses that, I think, I can understand the level of stick. We're 3-0 down, and the player we're criticising is one of our forwards who's trying to make something happen. I don't understand that. I don't understand people's mentality around that. We should be looking and saying, if we're 0-0 and we get out a chance, maybe he has the confidence to bury it, but we're not, because we played appalling in the first half. What we're doing now is we're playing much, much wider with the ball and trying to get those balls in, creating those chances. And it's something we should have been doing. He's worked his socks off in actually trying to link the play up. Well, you've got the players behind him who were all at sea and not doing anything. Masuaku first half was absolutely absent.
Yeah.
But he gets picked, and I'm not quite sure I understand that. I think, again, you're right. I think it's that, well, he was the previous manager sign-in. It was kind of hangover from his price. And, you're trying to compare him against Bowen, I suppose. But again, tonight he's been pushed into a position he doesn't normally play. He's in the middle where he would normally play wide left. Sometimes our support is beyond me with some of the stick that some of our players get. It's kind of Kevin Nolan all over again, isn't it?
Very much so. Yeah.
He's either brilliant or he's awful. And again, we just had another good chance to attack there, and nobody's on the end of it. But yeah, I think he's a really good player. I think he's someone we should be looking to kind of invest in and build the team around. We main the fact that we buy has-been players, 32, 33, bring them into the squad. And yet when we do get a good player, we don't give them time to develop and actually make their way into the squad. We've been fortunate with Declan Rice. He's a good player at a young age. But I think Fornals deserves a chance. And I think, again, I agree. I think it was a more difficult chance than people give credit for. And I think there was almost a slight deflection, from a boot on the way across. So I'd like to see it again.
Yeah, good point. We will, of course, take a look at it, assuming we get the opportunity to do so via a replay at the end of the game. Rio, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, just pointing out on the forum, actually, before we do this, we've got a corner. Cresswell takes it, and nothing happens. We come out to Arthur trying in the box, get it across, force another corner. Yeah, on the forum, Samba put, it was offside anyway, Fornals. Also, Stewie One put, just weird, people think it was easy because it's only a few yards out. The board skidded off the surface, going at about a 45-degree angle with lots of momentum. The only way of keeping that down is you can get right over the top of it.
Yeah.
It's far clearly too high for him to do that. So there's a bit more balanced view there coming through now.
Okay, but that comes back to what Pinky was saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
very much so.
I think let's not lose sight of the fact of something here. Yes, we're 3 goals down, but for the last 40 minutes of this game, we have been well on top, and I've seen us win games 3-0 where we haven't been camped around the opposition's box, anything like what we have been today. So it isn't all doom and gloom. As for young Pablo Fornals, I'm going to stick my neck out here. He's the best footballer we have signed and paid a fee for since Dimitri Payet in terms of football skill, athleticism, being able to move around, find a teammate with a pass, etc. He is a good player. And if we think that West Ham United are going to be signing a dozen players better than him anytime soon, dream on. That ain't happening.
No, I think we're, to be fair, we're all pretty unanimously in agreement, I think, here, aren't we, with regards to Fornals? We all think he's a good signing, a solid player. And especially at the age he is, he's one that we can look forward to seeing the best years of at West Ham. So everyone's entitled to an off day, and if today is to be an off day for Pablo, then fair enough. It happens, and he certainly isn't the only one who isn't performing to his best ability. Gnome out there today, although we are inside the last 20 minutes, and we're still yet to see any substitutions from West Ham. We've just saw Bonner go in the book a few moments ago there.
Deserved yellow card for Bonner. Tottenham are making substitutions. I guess they can afford to. Bale is on for Bergwijn. I think there may well be a second one as well, but just looking. But yeah, the Fornals debate. Basically, it's Bale's going to take the free kick from the Ogbonna foul. Winks is on for Dombele. We'll get back to what I was about to say, but we'll just,
okay. Yeah, let's stick with that for the free kick.
We'll stick with the free kick. Bale shoots, and it's like a back pass to Fabianski. What we were saying, yeah, the Fornals header.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to the wrong player. He's not noted for his prowess in the air, and I think Pinky mentioned earlier on Souček would have been all over that because he'd have been able to adjust. He'd have known what was happening, and you know, it was Fornals was just trying to get something on it.
Yeah, can I just point out there, Gnome, very quickly, Pablo Fornals is only 5'10". I say only; it's not particularly short, but
no, it's quite tall there.
Yeah, in comparison to some of us, of course. But you know, I mean, that just trying to emphasise the point you and Pinky have made there. You know, he isn't the tallest, and had it gone to a 6'4" player like Souček, perhaps it would have been a far easier opportunity.
We're just seeing Nolan, and he seems to be getting his Lanzini ready. You know, it's what we're saying. 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
You know. We're 3-0 down, and it's 15 minutes left before we think about changes. As Kane's found something.
Great.
Lining up on the edge of the box, but we've managed to get a foot in there. But we're too ponderous coming out. I mean, there were Tottenham ready to be countered on the break, and it's taken 5 passes to get us a throw in, and it's even that's gone the other way.
Yeah, one of those. It's interesting, actually. You're talking there about Kevin Nolan discussing tactics with Lanzini. We've spoken about how, you know, we all played grassroots as kids, and it's kind of reminded me, looking at the shot of those two with Kevin Nolan towering above Lanzini. It's almost like a Sunday League player instructing one of his junior players as to what he wants from him for the last 15 minutes. But no, it's a very good point you make. 15 minutes left of the game, and, you know, we're making our first sub. But Pinky, interesting one. Lanzini coming on, not one that we've sort of, any of us has suggested. What are your thoughts on that?
Why? You know, I mean, is he going to make the difference? Well, maybe he will, maybe he won't. I'm not convinced. And I know the manager gets stick because he doesn't make any changes. Yeah. But you only make a change if you think you've got an option that's going to give you something different or better, or if someone's injured. And I don't know, maybe, and these are the things we don't see, maybe there's a player that they're looking at real-time GPS data on that looks like they're about to pull a muscle or something like that. So they're going to hook him rather than risk it. But for my money, I wouldn't actually make a change at this point in time. I genuinely wouldn't.
Who do you think's coming off? Do you think that's Fornals about to go?
I would think it likely, yeah.
Fornals.
Yeah. I'm running a bit behind you guys, of course. So that might, Rio, has that change already been made? Am I?
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. But you're
but yeah, they're discussing it on a.
Sorry, we were getting into a good position.
Just going to attack again. Let's take that.
But our final ball has been absolutely dreadful all the way through.
Yeah.
And if we'd had a final ball,
our crossing and our set pieces have both been absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
It just hasn't come off today, is it? Not worked at all today. Briz, Manuel Lanzini about to come on. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, I don't understand why ever. And Souček's just picked up a yellow card for a kind of professional foul on the, stopping the player from attacking. Kufal's lost him, and Souček's just come and shoved him off the ball. Not unlike the Bowen foul, actually.
Yeah, Souček's just been booked for exactly the same sort of foul that was not a foul for Bowen 20 minutes ago.
It looks like they've hooked Antonio. Antonio's coming off for Yarmolenko, and Fornals off for Lanzini. I don't get that. Bit strange for me. It's like for like, isn't it? I mean,
well, it shows the paucity of attacking options we've got.
Yeah.
if only we'd had a transfer window recently that we could address some of the imbalances in our squad.
It's just watching that foul go in there. It's you're very right, Gnome. It's almost identical to the one that we didn't get. But joys of being a West Ham supporter, eh? 2 substitutions, as pointed out there by Briz. Antonio replaced by Yarmolenko. Fornell's replaced by Lanzini. Presumably, this means that we're going to play Yarmolenko, Rio, as the sole striker, forward, attacking man, or is it one of them amazing false 9 situations that we played memorably against Spurs, wasn't it? I think a few years ago. I think it was the game when.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, yeah, the Reverend Morrison game.
Yeah. We did it against Spurs, and then we did it for the next 3 or 4 games where everybody had seen us do it against Spurs and knew what was coming, and it was just rubbish.
Yeah. Worked once, unfortunately, but
so
not again.
I don't think I don't think Andre's got a discipline. So much of it could be a false number 9. I think it just depends on where Andre wants to wander around. To be honest, it could be a false number 7, 9, and 10. To be honest, it just depends on what he wants to do. Let him get on with it.
Yeah, well, I suppose we're at the stage now, Pinky, where it's what are we? Just under 12 minutes left to play. The game's gone. Pinky, go on.
Takes a shot first time with his left peg from about 22, 23 yards, and it goes off the outside of the post. I mean, just far too easy. No one near Harry Kane. I mean, why would you think to track the England captain who's good for 30 goals a year? Why would you bother doing that? Yeah, you absolute muppets, West Ham this afternoon. It should have been 4-0 to Tottenham there. Great chance for them, but the woodwork saved us.
Yeah, just as Pinky's just saying there, the shot coming in, Fabianski a passenger, Kufal conceding possession initially with a simple pass, West Ham on the back foot, Kane inches away from completing a hat-trick there against West Ham. Rio, you are the stats man. I don't know if Kane has ever scored a hat-trick against West Ham before, or even when the last hat-trick in this particular fixture was. Perhaps there's one that we can try and dig out of the archives. I'm trying to think. I can't remember one recently, but
Berbatov
scored.
Yeah, in about 15-minute hat-trick, I think, from memory.
Okay, I'll see if I can grab the year on that one. But thanks, Pinky. It's still Tottenham 3, West Ham United 0. Tottenham look like they're making their final sub of the game. We're inside the final 10 minutes. It looks like the game's gone now. A much improved second half performance from West Ham, but of course Tottenham can afford to be a little less forward thinking, given that they've got this huge advantage, Briz. And is that it now for West Ham? We've blown the best chance we've got. Are we just gonna? Is it damage limitation now? We just try and stick at 3.
Well, I have to be honest. I expected a landslide. I think we've done well to keep it at 3. I think we've looked all right coming forward, but we just lack we lack some quality in the final third. And as Gnome said earlier on, if only we'd had a transfer window, I think we could have probably solved that problem. Or even an up-and-coming young player that's ripped up the Championship the year before. Oh, hang on, we sold him to buy an up-and-coming young Championship player. Anyway, I think the best result for me today is the fact that tomorrow I won't be distracted by the TV watching Sky Sports, because it'll be Gareth Bale and Tottenham all day long, won't it? I think we've done all right. I think we've done okay. I haven't learned anything new about the team tonight, other than it'll be interesting to see how we set up next time round. Having taken this loss, for me, the damage is done, and Tottenham have played a typical Mourinho game. They've gone ahead, they've sat back and soaked it all up. But I think we've been bright in the second half. I just think first half we were just so poor. We gave ourselves a mountain to climb.
Briz, is there an element of overconfidence from West Ham going into this game, having secured those superb back-to-back wins against Wolves and Leicester? Do you think perhaps maybe we've gone in here thinking we're a little bit better than we are, and perhaps don't have to work quite as hard as we may have done in those 2 games to secure the wins?
Yeah, I think a little bit of complacency as well. The other teams have not worked us out, and I think we've just thought we can just carry on without teams getting wise to that and coming in and understanding our system. And again, as Pinky alluded to earlier on, I think Mourinho's worked us out, and I think he's played to those strengths. He's worked us out. He knows what system the team was going to play because we were so short on numbers.
Yes.
Oh, goal. Get in. Balbuena. Ironically.
The first decent ball we put in all day.
No, go on. Over to you.
I don't know if Balbuena realised it, but he's just done the sort of goal celebration that Bale copyrighted or registered. He did the old heart thing, which. But yeah, I mean, it's the first decent cross we've actually put in, and it's what 82 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's good cross, good header. As a message has come, you'll have to go somewhere else for a second. I've got a message on my screen.
No worries. I'm gonna go over to Pinky quickly. Pinky, maybe it's not all over yet. It's Spurs 3, West Ham United 1. Balbuena, the man we all said should be hooked at half time. Scored a goal.
And Rio called it. Next goal's the winner. So come on, West Ham. Let's see what you can do. And you know, I mean, we have been by far the better team in the second half. No doubt about that. The other thing I'd point out: the three goals scored by Tottenham, the clinical finishes. But one was a simple ball over the top with a quick runner, having more legs than a centre back. Another one was an England defensive midfielder getting nutmegged by the England captain who gets a shot away.
Yeah.
And the third one was ball watching by a couple of players. Yep. So you could argue 3 errors by individuals again have absolutely scuppered us, 3 different kinds of errors. But that kind of knocked the stuffing out of us for a 10, 15-minute period. Other than that, this scoreline flatters Tottenham Hotspur. It really does. This is not a 3-1. This really isn't. And it wouldn't surprise me to see us get another goal back.
Well, who knows? You know, there's still another six minutes of regulation time to go. Tottenham 3, West Ham United 1. West Ham, you know, we've got the wind in our sails, as it were now, Rio. You know, that goal, it's been coming. You can't say it hasn't been in the second half. And who knows, one more and it could be game on.
Again, we need to capitalise out that when we was on top earlier in the second half.
Yeah.
It's come a little bit too late, but you never know. You never know. And we're entrenched in their half again. Arthur's picked it up, knocked it in to Souček out wide. And if we can get a decent delivery in again now. Now Andre's doing his Andre thing. He's trying to cut on his left foot. He can't find it. That's a great ball, though. That's a brilliant ball. Come on, it's in. Come on.
It's on. Tottenham 3, West Ham United 2. Coming back from the dead. Breeze, what's going on?
Well, what a brilliant goal. But Tottenham scored the 4th goal, but it's for us. Well, great goal.
So good. Even Marino's just applauded it.
West Ham out of nowhere, 3-0 down, you know, sinking to another one of those ignominious defeats. It's 3-2. We could be on for an equaliser now, Gnome. What do you reckon?
That's
what a lovely finish, though, eh? What a goal.
Sorry, I had to disappear very quickly earlier on. My set-top box was about to go to standby right at the wrong moment. But I'm sorry, it's just a mad game, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it was a lovely build-up. Yeah. And the work between Yarmolenko and I think, I'm not sure who got the cross in, but out on that right-hand side, the lovely ball inside the full back.
Yeah.
And who'd have thought taking off your only forward, you get 2 goals.
The madness that is West Ham United. Not a single forward on the pitch, not a single recognised forward in the squad. And here we are, we're back to 3-2. Pinky, can we get a point? Is it on?
I don't know if it's on, but it could happen, you know, because all of a sudden Tottenham look all at 6s and 7s. I mean, they're not playing with any great confidence. None of their players want the ball. It's like a hot potato. They're moving it around, not to give us the runaround, just because none of them really want to take responsibility. But having said that, they're pouring forward down our left flank. Ball comes in, they get a corner kick. You know, this could go either way, this. It could be a Tottenham 4th or a West Ham 3rd. I mean, you know, fabulous stuff the last 10 minutes.
Rio, we've come back from the dead. It was 3-0. We were all kind of very despondent, thought that was it. You know, we were almost settling for you know, a 3-0 defeat. And yet here we are on the cusp of taking what would be a quite extraordinary point away from the lane.
I won't comment until this corner's been taken, because Tottenham had a corner and Bale was standing over it.
Okay.
He's going to whip it in. You just know it. And well, it's right in Fabianski's hands. Now, come on, keep him on the break. Come on. Now, we have deserved a point from this. We have absolutely deserved a point. The first 15 minutes was abjectly woeful. Ever since then, we kind of eked a foot into the game, asserted the front foot. We created better chances. We've been the far better side. It's just 15 minutes of absolute madness has cost us here.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a few minutes left here. I reckon it's 2 minutes normal time. The obligatory 3 or 4 on top. This game is not over yet.
It's not
there
over.
won't be much added on. It will just be the subs, really. I don't think the physio's been on at all.
We're bringing on another sub now.
Should give us hopefully 3 minutes anyway, shouldn't it? If we're taking the statutory 30 seconds, I guess, for each substitution. Rio, you're saying there's a final change coming?
Yeah. Yeah, Snodgrass is getting unchanged, and Kevin Owens just about to go through his flipbook thing, the contents of which I love to know. I don't think it's necessarily tactics, the way that we've kind of invigorated in this second half. I think it could be something a bit more smuttier than that. But it seems to work.
Yeah, well, you never know. It might just say something like that, hopefully, but who knows? Maybe we'll find out one day. But it's Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham United 2. We are rapidly approaching the end of full time, but a game that was going to its inevitable conclusion is now up in the air. West Ham with a chance. No, take us up.
Well, Cresswell played a ball in. I think it was Bowen who basically got a shot on the turn that was blocked. Tottenham had just bought a free kick, and Masuaku's just been booked. Where it was one of those ones where the Tottenham player played it past him, and I think you'll find, he's just thrown himself to the floor. Masuaku actually was getting out of the way, and but it's a yellow card for Masuaku. Just been. That referee's just been conned. And Masuaku's coming off for Snodgrass. That's his last action of the day. So we got Snodgrass on.
Excellent performance today from Arthur Masuaku. Yeah, I mean,
quiet.
He'd be my man of the match for West Ham today, Masuaku. I think he's been absolutely outstanding today.
Okay,
Kane's just made a back for Cresswell, and seems surprised he hasn't got the free kick, but it is a free kick to West Ham. He's led into Cresswell. He's got one eye on Cresswell, but then Kane always looks confused, doesn't he? So we're just moved into stoppage time. 4 minutes is the time added on. So
can we do it? Can we do it? This is the question. There is time. You always, as you say, you get to this stage in the game. There's always one chance out there. Can we take it, Briz? We were all sitting here with hugely, really long faces a few minutes ago. Now we're kind of on the edge of our seats, sort of hoping and praying, everything crossed that we can get a goal. Can we do it? Is there time for West Ham to get back here? And if so, who do you fancy for the equaliser?
But we've got 4 minutes, so anything can happen. We could lose 6-2 here, or we could win. We've done this year after year as us West Ham fans, haven't we? I think we've been pretty good. It's been one of those games where it's been odd. We've really dominated the second half. I mean, Tottenham are attacking now. Oh, it's great.
Bale would walk through the defence and put it wide.
Yeah, if he'd have scored that, I would have been switching my Sky subscription off tomorrow. But I think with the second half, especially the second half of the second half, that makes sense. We've been the dominant side. We've looked like Man City playing a lesser team on the pitch to this extent. We've been really, really good going forward. I'm not quite sure why. I'm struggling to we haven't changed our system. We haven't changed what we do. The only thing I can think is that we talk about us being complacent, but I think Tottenham got complacent.
Yeah.
3-0 to the good. They sat back. They thought they could soak it up. It's typical Mourinho fare. And we nicked a couple, and now they're under pressure. So it'll be interesting to see.
We are into the last couple of minutes of adding on time. It's Tottenham 3, West Ham United 2. Rio, this is not a dissimilar game to the match at our place last season, is it? I guess in some ways, Son, Mora, and Kane putting Tottenham 3-0 up there, and Antonio Bonner grabbing late goals for West Ham to reduce the deficit to 3-2. Is there some worry here, though, that this might put a bit of gloss on what has been what was a dreadful start for West Ham, and a start that has cost us the game?
Yeah, we've got to go back after this game and analyse that first 15, 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we got it completely wrong. They absolutely battered us. I mean, even the first half, tactically, as we said, Marino did a job. The midfield had an extra man, and it showed. It looked like there's 2 or 3. So we've got to take this back and not go into the next match thinking we can go with the same formation, the same lineup. We've got to address each game individually on its merits. I've got a minute left now. Cresswell's got a free kick on the left-hand side. We need a really decent delivery now. This is crucial. Come on, Aaron. Just make it count, mate. Please.
Okay, we'll stick with you, Rio, while the ball comes in.
Ball comes in, the referee had blown just before
the referee. Yeah.
It's the usual shenanigans.
So we're going to go back, and Aaron's got... Yeah, there's a minute left, and Cresswell's now got a second opportunity trying to get this into the middle. I'm hoping Souček gets the end of it. I really do. Cresswell in. It misses everyone.
Oh, get in! Get in! Get in!
Unbelievable scene at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Pinky, over to you.
Oh, well, Cresswell slings it in. It comes back out. It's pinged around the edge of the box. No one really wanted it. The ball was loose, and Manuel Lanzini gets on the end of it and buries it in the top left-hand corner of the Tottenham goal. Yeah, thank you very much.
We're speechless. Briz, we said it, didn't we? It's like Anton Ferdinand at the Lane all those years ago, slamming one in from outside the box. Lanzini's ripped his shirt off. He's run to the imaginary supporters behind the goal. The team are going mad. Tottenham 3-0 up at half-time, cruising to victory. They've thrown it all away. It's West Ham who are going to take a point for the Lane. The Tottenham players are on their backsides. They're crying their eyes out. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Bristol Hammer.
Well, again, I could see exactly why he made the change at half-time. Definitely understanding bringing on Lanzini. Always said it was coming, never in any doubt. Don't know what we were worrying about. Absolutely fantastic. What a day. What a game. What a day.
It is an absolute rocket from man. He's not going to make the change. He's not going to make any difference. He's appeared from nowhere. He's come on in the 80th minute. I can't find it now. Whenever it was, but West Ham have escaped. No, we're out of jail. 3-0 down. We said it. It's like the Hawthorns all over again. 3-0 down at half time. We've come back in the second half. David Moyes is going mental. Arthur Masuaku's ran back on like he's on the pitch again. It's scenes at the Lane. No,
and best of all, the fighting cock has gone into absolute meltdown. I mean, I'd love to share some of the comments with our listeners, but this is a family show, and I'm afraid some of these words not even I recognise. I mean, they're not impressed with their side, that's for sure. I mean, no, can't read that one. No, can't read that. Oh, that one. Oh, not. Oh, naughty. I mean, they're getting absolute pelters from their mob. Enjoy your evening, Tottenham Hotspur supporters. Ha, 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 ha.
Well, we're going to do a roundup of the forum very, very, very shortly. And I think, why not? Let's do that, Pinky. Once we've done the KUMB match thread, let's go and have a look at the fighting cock. Our friends from the Lane, they're going to be going. I mean, the game's over. West Ham have salvaged a point from an almost impossible situation. 3-0 down after just 16 minutes. The game lost. We were all distraught, thought it was gone. And then all of a sudden, 82 minutes, Fabian Balbuena steps up, nods West Ham back into contention. 85 minutes, Kufal crosses from the right, turned into their own net by a Tottenham defender. It's 3-2. And then with 1 minute of additional time left to go, Manuel Lanzini been nowhere, been totally out of form for the last year and a half. As a crack, as I said, it's like Anton Ferdinand all those years ago at the Lane when we were behind in the final minute. He sent an absolute scorcher right into the corner of the net. It's finished Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham United 3. It's like a win, Gnome. It's absolutely like a win for West Ham, this one.
I can just imagine what it must be like to be. No, I can't imagine what it must be like to be a Tottenham supporter. My IQ's too high, but well, I mean, where'd you go with that? I mean, it's just I'm gonna, it's almost Ron manager territory. Football, marvelous, isn't it? I mean, you're deep in stoppage time and all that. You get a free kick. You're thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great? But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Firstly, kudos before it all happened there. Kudos to Mr. Snodgrass, because he got himself between the ball and the Tottenham defender to buy that free kick. And look at that, 8th position. So I'm just checking my nose for nosebleeds. But I mean, well, yeah. Second half was a much improved performance. Oh. Tottenham have only got themselves to blame. They took their foot off the gas, but even then, when did we get the first of those three?
We scored 82 minutes. 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
3-0 down with less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, 3-0 down after 16 minutes, 3-0 down with 82 minutes on the clock. Game finishes 3-3.
In other words, what we're saying is we might as well just played the first quarter of our last quarter of our game. We could have gone out and had a drink somewhere. But
unbelievable.
Fair play to them. We will no doubt analyse this to death over the next hour or so, but you can't knock a result. You can't knock 3-0 when you've been 3-0 down. We'll say later on what a damn shame we were 3-0 down in the first place. But well, as I say, I give up. What do you say about that?
Well, we are, of course, we're all in a bit of shock having seen what's happened there. The dates it happened last was Saturday, the 12th of February, 2011. Graham Dorrans scored after 3 minutes. Jerome Thomas added a second in the 8th minute before Winston Reid's own goal sent West Bromwich Albion into the half-time interval 3-0 ahead at the Hawthorns in a Premier League fixture. Scott Parker took over, told Avram Grant to go for a walk, told the boys what was going on, had a chat. Demba Ba scored after 50 minutes. Carlton Cole, 58, and then Demba Ba scored 7 minutes from time to make it 3-0, and West Ham escaped with a 3-3 draw, having come from behind. It's happened again today, but even better, it's happened at Tottenham at the Lane. Tottenham 3-0 up after 16 minutes. West Ham still 3-0 behind with only 8 minutes of normal time to go. And as I said, Balbuena scored 82 minutes, 85 minutes, an own goal. And then 92, 93 minutes, Manuel Lanzini steps up, takes a dig from 20, 22, 23 yards. It sails into the top corner. It's a stunning goal, possibly the greatest goal of his career. And West Ham salvage a point. Escape with a point. Rio, that goal, it's got to be up there with the Obiang strike and the Ravel Morrison goal. Surely that one's going to go down in the annals of history as one of the greatest West Ham goals at the Lane.
I had another one. Ian Pearce, when he did it, when he pulled an equaliser back at the Lane with a 30-yard volley rocket. I'd just like to apologise to each and every single one of our viewers now, because I did say Nick's goal wins and we only managed to draw. So I do apologise. I'm handing my resignation right now. Take that. It's happened again.
Rio, we're going to go to the match stream, the KUMB Forum, if we can now. We normally say that it's not particularly busy if West Ham are doing well, but I get the feeling that there might be a few additional posts going in there, shall we say, right now. So we'll come to that very shortly. Pinky is probably going to we're going to ask Pinky to take us on a trip to the Fighting Cock, which, as most of you will be aware, is the Tottenham equivalent of Knees Up Mother Brown in terms of web forums. And Again, just for a bit of schadenfreude, if nothing else, just to have a laugh and see what's going on over there in a minute. But the change in the atmosphere on the match thread and also on the YouTube chat, we're all resigned to defeat, and all of a sudden we've pulled it. I mean, it's been such an incredible turnaround that we've lost Bristol Hammer. You know, it looks like Bristol, the whole of Bristol, possibly offline in shock at what West Ham have done. We need to calm down and take a look at the whole game, I think, now. And Pinky, let's start with you. An absolutely awful start for West Ham United over there this afternoon.
A shocking start. I mean, schoolboy stuff, and in many ways predictable, because Mourinho and his coaching staff clearly did predict it. The first goal, being absolutely no doubt, was a set play by Tottenham Hotspur, targeting what they knew would be a weak spot in our team, and you know, these things don't happen by accident. These aren't park players just making it up as they go along. They work on these things in training. It's why you could see Kevin Nolan holding a folder in the second half, briefing our players that said Tottenham Hotspur set plays. You know, we do the same to them. So the opening goal was a real body blow, and I think that kind of like shocked us to start with.
Yeah.
The next two, I think the Kane goal that where he nutmegged Declan Rice and got his shot off, very fortunate for Harry Kane there. Good finish, but you know he's not going to do that too often. The third goal we conceded, shocking. I mean, absolutely shocking. I said at the time we had more than enough players back to deal with it. So from that position, 3-0 down, and I think I said at the time, there's the points gone, because everyone's deflated. But then as the game went on, and we saw the second half of the first half and the first half of the second half, we were actually making the comments on this commentary that West Ham were on top, we were in control of the game, and Rio came out with his next goal as the winner. You know, a few of us were making comments that, you know, we could get something here. You know, so this wasn't a complete fluke. We'd played well for about 45 or 50 minutes before we started banging them in against Tottenham at the Lane. And you know, the tragedy of the day really is, but for those soft goals, we'd be sitting here now having won 3 on the spin again, and 2 of those results against teams that fancy themselves as, you know, top 6 sides come the end of the season. So for us, I think a cracking point, and the pressure now piling on Jose Mourinho. You know, you talk about a manager that's living off his reputation.
Yeah.
You know, he's not won the league in this country for what, 6 years? He last won a trophy, was it 4 or 5 years ago? Having managed nothing but Rolls-Royce teams and Rolls-Royce clubs. The pressure on him now at the Lane, okay, he's only had, what, 45 odd games there as manager? But he's got to deliver them some silverware to maintain his kind of reputation. And that is not, absolutely not a good Tottenham team. They had one tactic which they deployed for most of the afternoon, which was hook the ball forward as quick as you can to Son, because he's got bags of pace. And whichever flank that the move broke down on, they were very quick at switching it across to wherever Son happened to be. That was their sole tactic. And in the same way that they had figured out the weaknesses in our setup today, I think when Tottenham play against, dare we say, 1 or 2 better teams, they'll find that people have found to have the personnel or the tactics to counteract that particular tactic from Tottenham. So they're in for a fairly tough season. The Fighting Cock, I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I've said it earlier, but it's a family show, this, and here's one I can read. Only ourselves to blame once again. Come out with a lead and start sleepwalking. I can't tell you the poster's name because it's offensive. Oh, there's another one here. Well done, West Ham. You know, unacceptable from us after going 3 up. Complacent. Sissoko needs to go along with Sanchez. Toby is more or less done. Dyer is a liability. Yeah, that leaves Rodden, who's an unknown quantity. No good scoring buckets when you can't defend and let the same in. bizarrely, brain dead. Yeah, I have to agree. You know, weak as I can't believe this. Win the league, you're having a laugh. Embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. MVP, I agree with you, mate. I share your joy. You know, tremendous. Yeah. Do you know what? I might have to leave this broadcast early just to read the fighting cock.
Glorious stuff.
An absolute meltdown. I hope Jose literally sacrifices one of our players in the dressing room in a minute, so this never ever happens again.
Poor old Spurs, poor old Tottenham. It happened again. Referring to that old refrain that you know we used to sing not so long ago. We are suffering a little bit with the KUMB Forum. Everybody trying to get on to comment in the wake of that incredible result there. We're running with about 700 concurrent users online at the moment. So apologies to anyone who's struggling to get on right now. It's easing off a little bit now, 10 minutes or so after the final whistle. But what have you managed to pick up from the match thread there, Rio? We'll come back to your thoughts on the game in just a moment.
I mean, I was trying to be semi-professional at one point, and I pick up some points to what I thought was going to be a bit of a defeat. And like talking points we had regarding Fornells, Balbuena, why we set up today. So my professionalism has gone right out the window. So I've got 6 windows open with comments ready. I'm now just scrolling through. Now I've actually gone to the forum for the last 2 pages, and it's just a cacophony of absolute ecstasy at the moment. You know, once I've got past the getting yes. Would you believe it? What a crazy game, Freds, and got up to date with the newer comments. I'll be able to come back with something a bit more constructive. But okay. Most of it's just expletives in terms of yes, yes, yes. And there's a couple saying yes as well in getting. But I will come back as soon as I can.
We'll do that very shortly. We're going to be asking everyone, of course, also for their man of the match nominees, so we'll see what people are saying about that. Interestingly, actually, Gnome, before I come to you for your thoughts on the post or your post-match summary, it's interesting. Mandy Gould speaking in the YouTube chat, pointing out actually just before we scored that Gareth Bale, what a chance to make it 4-2, and doesn't that just sum up football? You know, the fact that within 60 seconds, Bale has that opportunity. We turn around from that chance and Lanzini scores and we salvage a point. But that's why we love football, right?
Yeah. I was going to say about Gareth Bale. I mean, that's 12 million loan fee well spent, wasn't it? I'm sorry, I'm just silly grin on my face. I've just been watching this, showing the third yet again. The view from it from behind, it cuts away and it just cuts away. They've also had the only person with a bigger grin on my face so far is Declan Rice, who's just been on, and yeah, he's just been, as I say, it reminded me a little bit of Mark Noble those years ago. You know, when he had the schoolboy giggle. Well, it wasn't quite that giggle, but he was beaming. Let's put it that way. Yeah,
I mean, it is an absolutely stunning strike, is that, from Lanzini? I mean, Lloris has got a hand to it, hasn't he? He's got a hand to it, but it's just in that area. I mean, put it maybe 6 inches either way, and it's hitting the bar, or Lloris is tipping it over the bar. It's absolutely perfect. It's the only place he can put that, and it's in the back of the net.
I can't believe at the moment you've got Souness and Darren Moore saying, "Oh, should the keeper have gone for it with the other hand?" And was there obstruction as Weeks was trying to block off Lanzini's shot? And Souness has just said, "Obstruction, you're going soft." But I mean,
no, I mean, I've got to be honest with you, and I'm going to credit Angelo Ogbonna here. It is obstruction. It is deliberate obstruction. He knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah. It's a wonderful bit of skill by our centre-back. Yeah. And do you know what? VAR, they should have had another look at that. The ref should have spotted it, but they didn't. And
I'll take that then over the last man foul on Bowen. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
Bone was sort of like bursting into the box and got shoved over and we got nothing. So sort of.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure about that one because I think Ogbonna's got his back to the lad coming in. Maybe he sensed him coming in and he's just gone across slightly. But it's not. Pinky's not having it at all. He's not buying it. He's not buying it at all. It's
doing there.
As you say.
I'll get back to you in a minute, guys, because I've got Mourinho on now, and I'll let you know what he's saying.
Okay, well, we shall, of course, be looking to hear from the two managers, Jose Mourinho, who's going to be absolutely devastated. That's a shame. And David Moyes, who's going to be absolutely over the moon, as they say, Brian, having watched his side come back from a 3-goal deficit with just 8 minutes to go. Can you believe it? At Tottenham to snatch what was a very, very unlikely, but Mourinho does actually look completely gutted, which has just put a bit of a shine on the afternoon, quite frankly. Amazing stuff. Rio, have we managed to compose ourselves and have a look at those points from the match thread and just get the gist of what's being said?
Yeah, no, there's a couple of interesting ones come up.
Okay.
Hand the Doggers put, it's the first time in 19 years that Spurs have gone 3-0 up in the league and failed to win. It's another one for the record books. Luke Chadwick, what a game. Not to take anything away from Lanzini, but he did take a nick off the defender's head. I'm not having that, Luke. Don't wipe the smiles and the hopes and euphoria off of us, you know. Just going back, another one. WCP is regarding the Ogbonna comment now. Looking at Manu's goal and props to Oggy for getting a solid pick to give Lanzini the split second he needed. What a crack that was. Brilliant. And Mafia Leaders put, not sure what I'm more shocked about. More is making the subs or the actual result. There's a lot of stuff coming through. I mean, the stuff I had picked up from earlier might be worth coming back to in later on. But
yeah, good shout.
Yeah, no, it's just a lot of positivity after the first 15 minutes of abject misery on the forum. We've gone completely 360. It's a cracking day, and I think the sheer volume of traffic is actually reflecting that.
Yeah, well, we shall. Yeah, we as I said, we are very, very busy on the KUMB forum right now. Everyone, obviously, over the moon and looking to post and have their say on what has been a quite extraordinary turnaround in this afternoon's Premier League derby between Tottenham and West Ham. Tottenham, 3 goals to the good after just 16 minutes. Goals in the first minute, the 8th minute, and the 16th minute. Excuse me. It looked like plain sailing for the Lily Whites until 8 minutes from time. Ogbonna scored. There was an own goal in the 85th minute, and then in the 3rd minute of added on time, Manuel Lanzini with an absolute screamer into the top corner to salvage a point for West Ham. And I guess, Pinky, the biggest disappointment when you sort of reflect on what's happened this afternoon is the fact that our fans weren't there this afternoon today to enjoy that.
I mean, just can you imagine? Can you imagine? Obviously, the first time we played him at the New Lane and Antonio got the winner and we all enjoyed that. But nothing beats when you're on the floor, you've had your absolutely arses handed to you in the first half and then you come back and you get something at the death. There is no better moment as an away supporter. There really isn't. Okay. And I'm afraid, today actually was the day that we were all supposed to be back in for travelling support.
Yeah.
Before the second wave came around. So it's a real shame. But you know what? I think most of our travelling support would have found a TV somewhere to watch the game today. And I think it's fair to say one or two of them might have gone quite merry by now in terms of what they saw. You'll probably open the papers tomorrow and see a couple of them having had heart attacks, God forbid. But it's comebacks like this. This is what you love. These are the games that 2-0 wins are nice and straightforward. Yeah, they're fine. But when you're at the lane, you're 3-0 down, you've been embarrassed for the opening 20 minutes, and somehow from the depth of whatever they go to for inspiration, they managed to get 3 second half goals, and you called it. It's like a win. Never mind 1 point for that. We should get 4, like a bonus win, because that's how good it feels. because our players are coming off the field there now thinking, at half time, they're thinking, Christ, it's double training on Monday.
Yeah.
You know, nobody fancies that in this sort of, you know, it's winter's coming, double training, no thank you. You know, they're coming off the field at full time. The manager's saying, don't need to see you tomorrow, lads. You know, I'll see you Tuesday. And it's one of those. And the secret thing that we keep going on about in football, confidence, you know, and spirit and things like that, where now the manager can look at his players and say, 3 games unbeaten, boys. Yeah, 7 points from 9. Yeah, against Wolverhampton Wanderers, Leicester City, and okay, it's only Tottenham, but we've still got a point. Yeah, so the manager can come out with these things, and it builds confidence. You know, at the start of the season, yours truly was there saying the opening 6 or 7 games, I was predicting no points.
Well, I think we all were. Yeah,
not a point. And here we are now in a so-called difficult run of games. We're picking up points, and I stress, for 45 or 50 minutes of this afternoon's game, we were much the better team. So, you know, at 3-0 down, at 3-1 down, we were saying the scoreline was flattering Tottenham Hotspur. We were much better than them for big parts of this game. And I think really, if Jose's being honest with himself, he should be on the TV going, yeah, we nicked a point today.
Well, let's find out exactly what Jose thought. I'm going to come to Gnome, who was watching that little interview there, just to see what he was saying. Thank you, Pinky, by the way.
Cheers, Pinky. Talking about Tottenham, he was a bit reserved as to his own team. Insofar as he said, what I'm going to have to do is think about that, and I'll keep that internally. He did praise West Ham. When asked what happened, he said, I think I'd like to say football happened. Wasn't it? How long ago was it? Where was it where West Ham happened was a phrase? I can't remember that one. It was a couple of years ago, I think. But, you know, it was, he said, full of praise for West Ham. When asked, do you think Tottenham sat back? He said, no, I don't think we did. I think they brought the game to us. Yep. And, you know, he said, but the game was under control. Kane should have scored the 4th when he hit the post.
Yep.
Bale should have scored to kill the game. It was more than it was more to the 4th goal, but that's football. We weren't deliberately hanging back, but the team was dropping. When we brought on Harry Winks, we found a bit more balance and we were in control. And it was exactly when we were in control that we conceded, and their belief went up. My guys were not strong enough to quite cope with it psychologically. And the last few seconds, we lost the 2 points. Interesting comparison. He said he compared Souček with, he called Souček Moyes' new Fellaini with his aerial prowess. So, yeah, so that was basically it.
Good stuff.
Decent praise for West Ham that didn't seem too grudging. Although I suspect that there'll be a different story in the changing room or when they're next training.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, wouldn't you? Well, we'll come back in just a moment because we're hoping that David Moyes.
We shouldn't get too carried away with the second half performance. We've got to remember it's only Tottenham.
Well, this is true, but I mean, the point is, I think that, you know, if you looked at those defenses, Pinky mentioned it a couple of times and said that Spurs' back four is a little bit suspect. We know ours is. We know where the problems lie. So I think there was always likely to be goals. In fact, actually, Lanzini did me a little bit there because I had that down for a 3-2 Spurs win in the prediction league. But I'm not going to complain about that. But can I just mention before we carry on that Bristol Hammer did have to leave at the full-time whistle for a previous engagement, a previously planned engagement. So we didn't lose him. It wasn't a case of all those Hammers fans in Bristol sending the city into a blackout. He did genuinely have to depart. So our thanks to Breeze for joining us and for his insight and thoughtful comments throughout the game. I'm lost. I don't know where to go after that. I mean, what I wanted to say, actually, Rio, let me come to you on this one. Already this season, we've seen some incredible matches, some incredible scores, and some the kind of results that we've never really seen before in the Premier League. How much do you think the fact that that home advantage appears to have disappeared, given the fact that there are no supporters inside a stadium. How much of an impact do you think that's had on the games, and why are we seeing so many crazy results? Leicester 0, West Ham 3, West Ham 4, Wolves 0, 3-3 today. Man United 1, Spurs 6, Villa beating Liverpool, putting 7 past Liverpool. What's going on?
I think the lack of fans does play a major part in more ways than one. You're not getting, for home teams especially, and I'm not going to mention the Liverpools, Man United, etc., who normally get the rub of the green once the home fans get on the referees back.
Yeah.
But that plays a key part. I also think that because of the lack of atmosphere and obviously no fans being involved, some of these games must have professional players still seem like training exercises at times.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're on telly, yes, you're in front of an audience of millions, but you're playing behind closed doors. You've got about 30 or 40 people there at most. That must psychologically make a massive impact.
Okay.
And also like the lack of fans in stadiums. I think once, I'm trying to think of the right words to put this.
Okay.
With none of the intensity from the crowd, we all know the better teams should win week in, week out. But we've all been at games where something sparked in the crowd and that atmosphere has lifted the side. It's happened time and time again. Now, you play in front of empty stadiums week in, week out. Even if you are being paid $100,000 a week, you're not playing with that same intensity, that same concentration. It does feel more like a training session at times. I mean, the amount of times we played behind closed door friendlies in terms of warming players up and getting players ready for the next break during normal times. It's just like that, and it's constant. Now, this is why more goals flying in. This is why there's more errors. You look at the high standards set in the last couple of seasons by Manchester City and Liverpool, and look at the way they've dipped in terms, especially compared to last season. Look at the way their performances have dipped, and they're suspect. Every single team is suspect in this league at the moment. We've gone through this before. We've got a very thin squad, and we thought that the start that we had this season, the first 8 or 9 games, we could be in serious trouble. But I think this break, this disease that's blighted the world, in footballing terms, has benefited us because the lack of atmosphere, the lack of intensity from some of the opposition at times, it seems to have worked in our favour.
Okay.
Just to let you know, guys, we've got David Moyes on at the moment. I'll come back to you when he's finished.
Okay, we'll do this little section though, and then we'll look into that. We'll come back to see what no doubt jubilant Mr. Moyes will have to say. Pinky, we've heard what Rio's had to say about that. Why he thinks there's so many strange and bizarre results occurring in the Premier League this season. Do you agree with that? There's a lack of intensity. The fact that there's no atmosphere is sort of making, I suppose it gives the away team a bit of a boost, doesn't it? Because, you're not constantly facing that barrage abuse from the terraces. What do you put it down to?
Yeah, but I was chatting with some guys on this very topic end of last week about, the amount of goals that are raining in. And one school of thought was, well, more attacking minded players are playing without fear and they're playing without being worried about the crowd getting on their backs if they take a shot and it doesn't go in and all the rest of it. And I kind of dismissed that as what a load of bogus tosh. Because to me, well, then why would defenders not have a benefit of making fewer errors? Mm-hmm. I think the key word, and Rio used it and you repeated it there, intensity. Yeah, and I'd love to know the GPS data that because all these shirts they wear, these little trackers that they wear in the back of their shirts and all the rest of it. I'd love to know how many high intensity runs players are making now and in which part of the field compared with, say, a normal season, because I very much get the impression games are incredibly open. We're seeing no end of games, was end-to-end stuff.
Yeah.
And tactically, managers know how to shut that down. They all do, because they do this for a living. As much as we criticise whether it's Moyes or Mourinho and all the rest of it, there's a reason these blokes are getting paid millions of pounds a year. They do generally know what they're doing. They can work things out tactically and what they have to do. All they've ever done is football, and yet suddenly we're seeing end-to-end stuff. The kind of football you'd see on Sunday Park football that we'd all play. And the professionals, you don't see that in normal times. And I can only put it down to the fact that players just aren't working as hard. That sounds obvious, but in key moments, at transition and so forth, things aren't as they normally would be. And I put that down to the empty stadiums. The players mentally aren't quite as, when you feel a crowd almost suck the noise in, and then before it comes out again, it's sending that sort of signal to a player. They run a bit harder. And I think what we're seeing at the minute, there's players from all teams not quite at it. And I think there's more space because players aren't working as hard. And as I say, I'd love to see the GPS data. I really would.
David Moyes, thank you, Pinky. I think David Moyes might have just finished there, Gnome, or at least on my screen, he's still talking. But let's come to you and see what the boss had to say about what was a stunning result at Tottenham today.
Well, he mentioned 3-0 down at half-time. Team talk was really difficult because apart from the first 10 minutes, he didn't think that anything needed changing. And he said that at the start of the game, they got the first goal very early on. We had a chance to make it 1-1, but they went up the other end, and suddenly it's 2. He praised Harry Kane, said he had a very good game, and he said what we did in the first half, we did in the second. We thought we were playing quite well. The defending we didn't like, but our play was very, very good, and in the end, we got goals for it. He then went on to say, as a manager, at times it's hard to use the word proud, but tonight was a really proud moment to be manager of the team because of how they kept at it. It's a big result, and hopefully the supporters will have enjoyed it. Sorry. There was also I saw an interview just came up on it to another source, which I'll just take one line out, only because when you take it out of context, it just seems quite funny.
Okay.
It said, the plan for the second half was not to go 4-0 down. Now, I know what he means, and there's a lot more, and it's unfair to actually single that out, but that just amused me, as I say. So I only quote that for humorous effect. And it's basically, we said if we got one, we'd see what happened next. It's a growing confidence we've got at the moment, and we did miss some chances today. Mm-hmm. We threatened them. We're playing against the team everyone's talking about, and after 10 minutes I'm thinking, is this going to be 6 or 7? So we changed slightly and made it better. Just said, I've just seen my celebration. The David Pleat moment came to mind.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
I know someone else's run and slid down the touchline, so I wasn't going to copy that. So you do get a lot of downs in football when you're working hard and trying to get to the top level. So you have good moments, but a lot of bad too. Today was great. Since we came back from lockdown, we've got a completely different team. We keep scoring goals, but we do need to get back to clean sheets. That's that. Gentlemen, can I take my leave of you for about 10 minutes? I do need to deal with a quick personal phone call.
Yeah, of course. I think we'll probably go on for another probably about another 20-25 minutes, I think. So
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back when you're free, and give our love to young Jeffrey if you wouldn't mind.
Will do. Will do.
Rio, Gnome will come and join us again in just a while. David Moyes mentioning there his pride in the team, which I think is something we can all feel, given that I keep using the same word, extraordinary, but it really was an extraordinary comeback this afternoon. Where does that result sit with regards to the last 2 or 3 games? And not only its importance, but just how big it was for West Ham, and also psychologically. We had that incredible victory against Wolves where, you know, most people were predicting an away win. We smashed them. We smashed them off the park, beat them 4-0, and then to follow that up with that incredible result at Leicester was possibly even an improvement. But obviously, a point at Tottenham, it's a decent result. Let's not say it's anything else. But the fact that we were 3-0 down, the fact that there was less than 10 minutes to go, what does that do for a team psychologically going forward? You know, it's one thing winning a game and winning it comfortably, but learning perhaps, do you think that, you know, there's a newfound resilience they're aware of that they might perhaps not have been aware of before? You know, we won the two previous games comfortably. I think the point I'm trying to make is we've not had to face adversity in a sense in a game, and, you know, work so hard and produce such an incredible performance to come back. So where does that rank in terms of those last three games, in terms of its importance for you? And, you know, what do you think was the biggest result?
I actually think this is possibly the biggest result out of the three.
Okay.
In terms of character, this is a huge statement, not only for David Moyes' regime, but the squad as well. You know, we all know the situation that's gone on over the last month or so regarding player sales and discontent amongst the first team.
Yep.
So West Ham are not renowned for their ability to go behind and come back and salvage a point. That's from 1 or 2-0 down, let alone 3. A side who, let's face it, 2 years ago were Champions League finalists. Yeah. It's a huge test of character to go 3-0 down within 15 minutes at a side laden with England and various other internationals. Right, we left it late, but the character shown. The first 15 minutes were absolutely abject. We was diabolical. We couldn't defend anything. We showed remarkable tenacity, character, and desire to get back into this game. Once we kind of shook off the cobwebs within the first 15 minutes, we could have folded. We could have gone down by 5 or 6, but we didn't. We stuck at it. We actually were probably the better side for the remainder of the last hour of that game. And let's not forget, I mean, this Tottenham side, right, it's not the greatest. It's definitely not the vintage of the Pochettino era, but it's still laden with more money, more talent than we've probably got on our books.
Yeah.
Yet what they didn't have today was the mental fortitude to hold out and block out for to, as Mourinho would normally do, park the bus and get them 3 points on the board. There's only one team. I know I said it in kind of half jest. When I said the next goal wins, it's because I'd seen enough in that previous 15, 20 minutes to think, if we get something here, if we get a goal, this game could collapse mentally as well as physically. And they did, you know. We left it late. We left it scarily late. But I always thought, if we could get something, and then I thought we needed to get it within the first 10, 15 minutes of that second half, and we'd actually go on to do something.
Yeah.
We left it late. We've only got a point, but that point, as Pinky said, is probably worth 4. Yeah. Because it's a mental boost. It's a confidence boost. If you look at the reactions of our players and our manager at the end there, not only did he do the little David Pleat, you look at the other players, look at the substitutes running on the pitch diving on top of Lanzini.
Yeah.
That signifies a unified squad, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the kind of things that you love about football, seeing all the players together. Can you imagine if we'd been there today? Can you imagine how mental we would have been going in that stand today?
Well, I mean, I think that's the real disappointment, isn't it? That we couldn't participate in that today. It would have been phenomenal. But
the players we had on at the ground today, they replicated what we would have done. They dived over the top of each other. They showed a lot of passion, a lot of heart today. You know, it's not something that we've always been synonymous with, West Ham. Passion, heart, and desire and fight. We've had it in fits and spurts and from certain players, but that squad looked unified today, and that's a massive statement for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because the reason I asked you that, Rio, is because, as I said at the top there, it's a totally different kind of result and match to the last two, where we performed fantastically well, but you know, it kind of makes me wonder that what would have happened if we'd have scored that third goal 5 minutes earlier. You know, it would have been interesting to see. I mean, would we have folded, or you know, and perhaps Tottenham? It's, you know, who knows? It hasn't happened. It's all hypothetical, I guess. But interesting thoughts anyway, Ria. Pinky, same question to you, really. Where does that rank in terms of, you know, in relation to those last two games? It's a completely different game. We've only taken a point. You know, we've taken 7 points. We spoke about this, didn't we, at the start of the season? Every single one of these 7 fixtures in the corresponding matches last season, we lost a lot. Didn't take a single point from them. And here we are, disappointing against Newcastle, no question. Unlucky to lose against Arsenal. Impeccable against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Fantastic at Leicester. And a comeback that is a once-in-a-decade experience we've witnessed today. So where for you does that rank in terms of those last 3 games? What happened today?
I think it is right at the top, because the mental aspect of professional sport is huge. It really is. And what we saw today was, when we got our first goal, you can almost see the doubt starting to creep into the Tottenham players' heads.
Yeah.
When we got the second, panic started to settle in. And I think I made the comment during the commentary. None of the Tottenham players wanted the ball. They were moving it around, not because they were passing comfortably and keeping possession, but because they didn't want to spend any time on the ball. Mm-hmm. None of them were confident. It had all been sapped out of them. None of them wanted to take responsibility. And, you know, it's one of the little things I quite enjoy, is watching teams mentally disintegrate, because that's all it is. You know, both teams there today, you know, these are top players. I mean, these aren't pub players. These are top players on both sides. And the difference between success and failure, if they're the right words, it's a fine line. But mentally, Tottenham Hotspur absolutely collapsed today. And it's the sort of collapse that will take them a while to get over. That's the problem. Whereas our guys there today, you know, talk about getting out of jail. We've had a shocking start. I mean, you know, we said in the first half that Mourinho had absolutely out-tacticked Moyes, and he had, because every single coach and manager in the Premier League would have known how we were going to line up today, and I reckon 19 of the others would have said, the way to play West Ham, like that, stick the ball behind Balbuena and put the fastest man on the park hunting it down. Okay, because, you know, that's the obvious tactic. Yeah, they play it early doors, they get the goal, and then we're right up against it. But do you know what? For the 3 goals they scored, how busy was Fabianski really? You know, and you look at it and you're thinking, the more I'm looking back on the game now, bad start, and we're feeling great because we've come from behind. Mm-hmm. But we controlled quite a lot of that game. And if I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be looking at my team's defence and I'd be going, top 6. Top half might be a struggle. Yeah. Because at the back, they were poor, you know, and being no doubt about it, you know, if they've got aspirations to win things, they're not going to do it with that defensive lineup. I thought their midfield was very good in the first half, you know, and controlled the game. Second half, slightly different story. And that's 2 games running now where I've said Rice has been poor in the first half. much better in the second. I think the other game was the England game where I made that comment.
Yeah.
I thought Rice was much improved in the second half
Mm-hmm.
for certain, but part of me is disappointed we didn't win this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I called Masuaku out as my man of the match. I thought in their half, he looks outstanding. He scares the living bejeebers out of them because he's got very quick feet, you know, and his decision making appears to have improved somewhat. We threw in some lovely crosses from both himself and Cresswell today. You know, we looked very good. And you just think, you know what? If the chairman had actually bothered to get the checkbook out even a day earlier, how good it would have been had David Moyes had the option of slinging Ben Rahama on to try and win the game. But of course, that's denied him because the chairman has dragged everything out again for a bit of deadline day drama.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder, is the chairman really going to back this manager now? Because he probably should do. You know, if you look at this, since Project Restart, I'll look it up later, but we can't be far off being the form team in the top flight.
Yeah.
You know, and so whatever David Moyes has done, you know, while he was on the lockdown, delivering fruit and veg to people up in the Northwest,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe he wants to do that a couple of days a week because we've been a revelation since Project Restart.
Yeah.
Scoring goals for fun, players looking like they're enjoying playing, you know, heavens above, there's dare I say, there's some team spirit there. And today's starting 11 cost less combined than the fees we paid for Anderson and Haller.
Now there's a statistic for you.
Yeah.
But it says it all. It doesn't. It you know, it just goes to show, as you said, if David Moyes had been in control of that particular area of finance, what could he have done with it? We've seen yet again. We've seen another one of his signings. I mean, you mentioned Rice there, Pinky. I thought, and credit where it's due, because I called him out slightly at half time. Thomas Souček, I thought he was very disappointing in the first half, probably the weakest performance we've seen from him since he arrived at the club. And I thought he also was exceptional in the second half. I thought he was brilliant, fantastic. And talking about the Moyes signings, we saw Kufal again, and we were slightly critical of him in the first half, but he popped up there in an important area to supply the cross for that vitally important second goal that really put Tottenham on the back foot. And Bowen again, didn't score today, no assist, but ran them ragged and gave the Spurs defence a torrid time today. So yeah, it's looking good in terms of what David Moyes is bringing to the squad, I think. So long may it continue, I guess. But
and he's doing it on a limited budget.
Yeah,
because in a year's time there'll be somebody on Sky or whatever, one of the TV channels, saying he's had money to spend. No, he hasn't. Let's nail that myth right now.
Yeah,
the chairman is spending some money, not the manager. I'm yet to be convinced that the player we've just signed from Brentford is really what the manager was demanding. I thought he wanted King from Bournemouth as his priority, but what he really wanted was a commanding centre-back.
Yeah.
And it's become very, very obvious with the bids we were making, there wasn't a sincere attempt by the club to sign the centre-back that the manager wanted.
Yeah.
We've ended up with an on-loan player from a club that's been relegated. So, that'll give you a clue as to how much money the chairman thinks we need to be spending in what areas of the pitch.
Yeah.
And then goes and buys another winger, having been on national radio 3 weeks previously saying, we sold Dean Garner because we've already got 8 wingers. So please, I'd love to see someone convince me that the Brentford lad is David Moyes' top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps coming back to it. Who's signing the players? Who's building the squad? And what I'm really loving at the minute is we're picking up points in the games this season that we got nothing from last year's season.
Mm.
Moyes has got just under 200 days left on his deal. Every game that goes by is going to be harder and harder for the chairman to justify not giving him a new deal. And Moyes will be able to sit there and say, well, the money I've spent for you with Bowen, well, that's been a good signing. Souček, well, fan favourite already. Kufal, early days, but there you go. No one's going to be able to point the finger at David Moyes and say he's wasted the club's money. At this point in time, he is sitting pretty. And I think the heat's coming back to the chairman. It has to be said. Yeah,
very much so. Good stuff, Pinky. Thank you. Gnome has rejoined us now. While you've been away, we've managed to sort of cover the question there, Gnome, which I'm going to put to you now. Before I do that, I should stress I'm already being asked from several quarters on social media and via the YouTube chat about the opposition view, which for those of you who are regular visitors to Knees Up Mother Brown will be aware is our little trawl of the opposition forums post-match, just to see what they thought of the game. And of course, I'm fairly certain that we can promise you a bumper opposition view sometime tomorrow on KUMB. So keep an eye on the homepage for details of that. Gnome, the question I was asking Rio and Pinky there was, where does today's game and result rank in comparison to the exceptionally good wins against Wolves and Leicester? It's a, as we said, it was a different type of game today. We were really strong in those last two performances, but today was we exhibited a different kind of strength. It was more of a mental strength, having to come back, from 3 goals behind to dig in and find that and find that inner strength that you can only produce in times of adversity. So for you, I mean, Rio and Pinky have said that for them it's up there with those, if not a better result in terms of that particular performance. Where does it sit for you?
Excuse me.
In the throat by the looks of it right now.
Yeah, right in the throat. It's a massive result in terms of we looked at the fixture list, didn't we? And we're saying, oh, we've got Leicester and Wolves are both good. We've got Tottenham as well. Those three. I mean, is it Man City next weekend, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So
we'll come to that in a moment, yeah.
It's gulp. This should have 2 effects. One, any complacency that might have been there after Leicester and Wolves, that should well and truly have gone. Because it means we played well for 90 minutes against Leicester and Wolves, but you've got to be at it all the time, and those first 10-15 minutes weren't acceptable, and I'm sure as Mr. Moyes would say. So you're getting 3 goals in the last 8 minutes, and well, you've got two things that come through that. One, you get the psychological mental boost to carry into the next game. You suddenly, if you lose that 3-4-0 to Tottenham, you're going into Man City saying, well, whatever the we had the last couple of games, maybe we're not quite as good as we think we are. And you've got that. You don't need that going into Manchester City in your next game.
Sure.
So you've got the points, you've got the psychological boost, and you've got a bit of reality check. Because Wolves and Leicester were great last season. This season's a new season, so you've got all that to think about. It's a very, very useful result in all sorts of ways, not just the point from being 3-0 down, if you like. So obviously, if we'd actually gone out and won that 4-0, then you'd obviously be going to Man City with a smile on your face. Just think, if it had been the other way round, we'd been 3-0 up and caved in.
Yeah. Well, it's like a defeat, isn't it? It's to be in that position. It's the same psychological effect, I guess.
Yeah. So And while I'm on, I should say that Jeff sends his regards, and it's his round because he won 50 quid on the premium bonds this week. So,
well, that's lovely to hear. Well done, Jeffrey, and we'll hold you to that one day. Next time we see you, next time we can get together, my friend. No, that takes me quite nicely into my next question, which is pretty much where we're going to wrap up, I think. Three great results there. Wolves, Leicester today. Next week, of course, Man City. And then the last one in that, I don't know what Latin for month is, but the equivalent of an annus horribilis, I suppose, a monthus horribilis, perhaps, finishing against Liverpool after that. And then, of course, the games on paper. And, of course, let's not forget, this is West Ham, and, you know, what should happen rarely transpires. But Man City and Liverpool to come, we are going into them now in the best possible form, I think. And we couldn't have asked for any more. We're at home, aren't we, next week against Man City?
I think so, yeah.
We go to Anfield. Is there any point in trying to predict what's going to happen anymore after what we've seen the last 3 weeks?
I mean, predictions are just mad anyway at the moment. I mean, the league's just gone completely bonkers. What I would say is that I'm going into a Manchester City game with a lot more confidence, and I'm sure the players are, than I have with any Manchester City game over the last few years. Mm-hmm. They're not at their best. They were by far and away the better side against Arsenal yesterday, has to be said. Mm-hmm. But they still only won 1-0. That was against an Arsenal side I thought we were better than.
Yes.
So, but then who knows with this game? But yeah, I'm going into that game thinking we can get a result. And similarly with Liverpool, they're not at their best, and they've actually got as far as demanding an explanation from the Premier League why they're not 10 points clear at the top already, because hypocrites. Given all they've gotten away with over the years, how dare they demand explanations all of a sudden? But so
you're confident anyway going into those two games.
Yeah. But just hearing now that Van Dijk looks like he's going to be out for the season. I know it was a shocking challenge and it should have been a red card, but that's not the end of it.
A huge miss that for Liverpool, though, going forward. Not that I want to talk about Liverpool, but bearing in mind we're playing them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But we'll talk about Manchester City. They're definitely out of sorts at the moment. And it says a lot that even out of sorts, they're still one hell of a side. They'll present a different challenge to Tottenham because they'll pass their way through you, and we've got to be really, really tight and compact. Tottenham are a little bit more. Let's see if we can catch you with the sort of catch you asleep from the sort of quick break.
Yeah.
Whereas Manchester City will make 20 passes and suddenly you find yourself in trouble because you lost concentration somewhere at past 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So there's a mental toughness you need to play Manchester City, as well as being, we can't afford to have the Masuaku not tracking someone on the edge of the box, which we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast there.
Yeah.
We've got to be aware, if you're not on the ball, what are you doing? Who's near you? Who do you need to be tracking? Yeah. I'm not on the ball. I'll just watch what happens over there and see if it comes my way, because that way madness lies. So,
yes. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. So we go into next week's game with renewed confidence, probably the sort of confidence we haven't really had going into a game against Man City for some time. Before we move on, I've just got to show you this, and it's just a shame that this isn't the case. I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but can you see what Soccer Base have got as the final score in today's game there?
I can't quite read it from here.
Is that not showing up on my screen? I'm not sure, but it's actually reading Tottenham 2, West Ham United 3. So I guess in some ways it's slightly disappointing that isn't the case. But anyway, Rio, Gnome's spoken there about, next week, Man City, a game we would traditionally go into with great, dread and fear. We've got the opportunity to be a little bit more confident now, haven't we? And then, of course, Liverpool coming up the following week. This is a Liverpool side that have, recently shipped 7 goals against Aston Villa. How are you feeling now, looking ahead to those 2 particular matches?
Yeah, I think you go into more confidence you probably have done since the first year of Billich's reign.
Yeah.
Where we didn't lose to Liverpool at all in that season. And we won away at Man City. I think we won at home to them as well that year.
Yes, I know in those 3 games.
Obviously,
Liverpool,
they're the 2 best.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, I was just going to say. Yeah. I think in the 3 games against Liverpool that year, we won 7-1 on aggregate, didn't we? There was the 3-0 win up there. The 2-0 was it in the league game, and then also the FA Cup game. But yeah, sorry, I
yeah, we drew away in the cup. It was 4 games. Klopp didn't have Billich's number until. Yeah, they're clearly still the 2 best sides in the league, but they have their issues. I don't think Pep knows what his best side is. There was a stat yesterday watching the game, and regarding their spending, and they've spent something like £400 million on defenders since he's been in charge, and only 80 million or something like that on forwards.
You could buy defenders.
The 480 million. Yeah, exactly. It staggers you beyond belief the amount of money he spent, and he still doesn't know and still hasn't got a quality defence. Now, if we can exploit that, we're not going to have the distraction of an international break, because that caught us cold for the first 15 minutes. I think that was the main issue. We'd been away from each other. It obviously, before the Arsenal game, switching to the 3-5 at the back, however way you're going to look at it, it obviously drilled our players into getting that kind of tactic and regime set up. Mm-hmm. And we did it incredibly well against Arsenal. We was very unlucky there. It worked to great effect against Wolves and also against Leicester. So we've got time to work on that again. So that's not going to be a distraction. You're never going to start a game as bad as we did today. I don't think he'd allow it. He's going to be probably, despite the fact that we've come away euphoric today, the first thing I'd do in the morning was drag him in and go, watch his first 15 minutes. Yeah. And you tell me exactly what the issues are. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we've got every reason to go into next week, probably the most confident we ever have done against City for a good 5 or 6 years.
Do we go into that game, Rio, with an unchanged team again? Or are we looking, we've now got Ben Rama as a possibility to come in. Can he get a place in that team? Do we stick with Balbuena, who, 1 or 2 people on the forum and on the YouTube chat were calling out earlier in the game? Do we bring Diop back? Or do we even give Dawson a debut? What do you think? How would you play that?
In terms of forwards and midfield, I wouldn't change much, if anything. Defence, there's clearly an issue today, and that's for him to work out during the week on the training ground. If he thinks Balbuena can handle it next week, fine. I quite like the fella. You got to think, what did we pay for him? £3.5 million?
Yeah. It's
not exactly spending like 40 million quid on Nathan Ake and still not being sure that he's our best defender, is he?
Mm-hmm. Scored, of course, today. Got us back into the game.
Exactly. No. Yep. Despite the fact he had an absolute shocking first half, I thought in the second half he coped admirably well. Yeah, it's something to work on the training ground. He's going to see what happens this week in training. Now, if he thinks Balbuena's up to it, I trust Moyes at the moment. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. But I'm beginning to trust Moyes more and more with every passing week. I think he's got the right backroom staff. I think he's got the right setup. He's got the right idea. We know where the issues lie in terms of recruitment and that. Mm-hmm. But I trust Moyes. So whatever he comes up and what he decides to tinker with the squad, if at all, for next week, I trust him.
Well, just look at the contrast there. We've got Guardiola, who we think may not know his best team because he's got players upon players, he's got an abundance of players, whereas we pretty much know our best team because we haven't got anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just such a odd juxtaposition there.
Yeah, and of course it's working out for us. But it's nice to hear that, I think, Rio, to hear West Ham fans that have got faith in the manager, because it's been a long time, I think, since we can say that. You know, I mean, I think Slaven Bilic perhaps had that for a bit, didn't he? You know, in that first season. But maybe Allardyce a little.
There is something else I'd like to bring up.
Sure.
On all, please, Greg, quickly.
Yeah, sure, mate.
Again, before the game yesterday, Sky brought up a stat. It's mainly slagging off Arsenal, which I've got no qualms about.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing our record away to the top 6. And of all the 20 teams in the Premier League, I think we stood 5th or 6th in that.
Okay. Which
didn't just shock me. It knocked me for 6. I've had to have a lie down for an hour and a half because I thought our record was not that great against the top 6 away from home.
So over what period are we referring to there, Rio?
I think it was the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
It was certainly a longer period than I ever imagined. But right. Arsenal was lying in about 18th place.
Yeah.
And we was, about 5th or 6th.
Okay.
Well, we've had wins.
That is an interesting
I don't know how long you're going back, but we've had wins at Arsenal, Spurs. Again, how far back? We did win up at Man City a few years ago, didn't we?
Well, and Liverpool too, didn't we? In the same season.
Yeah, I mean, again, that depends how far back you go. So we have picked up wins at these places. As I say, Tottenham, you're including them in the top 6.
Yeah.
I suppose it's not that surprising.
No, good stuff. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Rio, I'm going to ask you to have a look through the match thread. We're going to come for one last summary before we go in just a few minutes after we've come to Pinky for his view on the next 2 matches. So we'll do that. Just very quickly before I do that, one thing we haven't touched upon is the final match stats from this afternoon's game. In terms of possession, Tottenham just about, now this is really interesting because I think at half time it was about 60-40 in favour of Tottenham, maybe even slightly more. Finished with Tottenham with 52% of possession and West Ham 48%. So just goes to show how much of the ball we actually saw, how much possession we had after the break. In terms of shots, Tottenham produced 11 shots at goal, West Ham 13. On target, Tottenham 6, West Ham 4. Now, it's quite interesting that because Tottenham's first 3 shots of the match were all on target and were all ended up in the back of the net. And it turns out that of the 4 shots we had on target, 3 of them ended up in the back of the net. I don't know how it actually works in terms of own goals, whether that counts as a shot or a shot on target. Gnome, you might know more.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Because the thing is the cross, which is the nearest thing you've got to a shot in that stat, was not going in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it had been going in and he just diverted it in, then it would normally be credited to the striker in any case. So,
even so, I mean, 2 out of 4 on target. We'll take the 50% ratio in terms of goals anyway. So that's pretty good. Corners, Tottenham had 3 corners, didn't have any in the first half. 3 corners in the second half. West Ham 7 corners and fouls committed. Tottenham 13, West Ham 12. So very, very even game.
That's
kind of
14,
borne out
really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of borne out by the final score there. But anyway, that's today's match stats, which are somewhat delayed, but we got there in the end. Pinky, you've been waiting patiently for your opportunity to speak about the next couple of games. Manchester City at home next week, followed by Liverpool away. Should we be scared now, or dare I say it, should they be worried about West Ham United?
Well, that's an interesting point. The second question. Taking Man City first of all, they lost 9 league games last season. Let's just ponder that. The great Manchester City were beaten 9 times last season. So that's not an outstanding record in anyone's book. I think most people say if you want to win the league, about 5 defeats is about what you can take.
Yeah, tops.
So, they've got some frailties. Yes, they've spent money again in the summer, as you'd expect. Man City being Man City, but I very much have the view there that Aguero back for them will help them at one end of the pitch. But I think the player who's really made them tick over the last 5 or 6 years has been David Silva. And he's gone now. And I would say in the Premier League era, he would probably be in an awful lot of football supporters' top half a dozen players over the last 30 years. That's how good David Silva is as a player. And he's gone. You could say, yeah, they've still got Bernardo there. They've got, Kevin De Bruyne there and what have you. But I have very much the feeling that you can beat this Man City team. I don't see a 5-0 drubbing, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So last season, they finished 42 points ahead of us. That's a huge gap. I don't see 42 points between them and us this season. So will we beat them? I don't know. Can we get a draw? Yeah, I think we can. Because there's goals in this West Ham team. That is for absolutely certain. So I think the manager's got a call to make in our back line. Because everyone would have seen Son's goal tonight. No question about that. Yeah. And exposed a glaring weakness. So he needs a plan to address that obvious frailty. But we could get something. Liverpool, it's going to help with Van Dijk missing, because you take anyone out the spine of a team, is going to weaken it, and he is the bedrock of their defensive setup. Their keeper is always prone to a bit of injury, and you never know, we might get lucky and we might be playing Adrian instead of Alisson, which could help. Their danger man, Liverpool, is Mane. For my money, he really is the one that could kill you, and he'd be the problem. So I think over the next 2 games, 3 points from the 2 isn't out of the question. We're probably looking at 1, not the worst position, because if you then say that would be 10 points from a possible, 15 against those teams, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, Leicester City, Wolves. I think if you'd asked any West Ham United supporter ahead of that run of fixture, would they settle for that? I think if you ask the West Ham manager, would he settle for that? He'd probably say yes. So, we're kind of like pressure off, because the 7 points we've just picked up from those 3 games we just had has taken the pressure off. It really has taken the pressure off. So we can play against City with some confidence. They're not great at the minute. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, but they're not 40 points better than us. And Liverpool this year, they're not 60 points better than us. I'll tell you that now. So I think we'll narrow the gap, and I think we'll get something from the next 2 games. Don't know what, at least a point, maybe 3.
Okay, good stuff. I mean, you're talking about the points difference. Man City are no points better than West Ham currently. Of course, they do have a game in hand, but at this stage of the season, we're both sitting there with 7 points. West Ham from 5 games, Man City from 4. But West Ham, we're 8th in the table. Man City 10th, purely because of our superior goal difference. We've scored 11 goals this season, conceded 7. But we're talking about those last 3 games, the ones that we deemed as being particularly difficult: Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham today. Goal difference in those 3 games alone, we're +7. 4-0 win, 3-0 win, 3-3 today. We've scored 10 goals and conceded 3. If you take the Arsenal and Newcastle games out of the equation, which of course you can't do, but I mean, we're talking about recent form, and it's looking very, very, very promising. When do Man City play? Are they playing tonight? Does anybody know, or are they playing tomorrow, perhaps? Sure, when their next game is.
They played yesterday, didn't they? Arsenal played Arsenal the other day.
Of course they did. So why?
Sorry, confusing me there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think why they're missing a game.
They started a week later because of European.
Of course,
they started playing last year's European, last year's local Champions League to give it.
And of course, interestingly, we're talking about next week now. We talk about recovery periods being important these days for players. They've got a very important game on Wednesday night. They play Porto in the Champions League, Gnome, and I suspect one of our current number may be involved in that, in the shape of Mr. Anderson. And of course, another former player in Martinez, Tony Martinez.
Yeah. So yeah. So if you're watching, mate, go and kick a few for us.
But the point of that being that
Yeah.
they're only going to get three days after that. They're playing West Ham again.
It's always
yeah, of course, yeah.
It's always been a thing, even before the sort of Sky reunification of the game. That when it was the old-fashioned 3 European competitions that we used to have, it was always good if you could play Liverpool or Man City, or not Man City, but whoever's in them back in those days.
Yeah.
The week after, the Saturday after they'd had a midweek European game, particularly away. I don't know if they were. I mean, it happened to us. I can remember when we went out, when we got finally beaten by Dinamo Tbilisi, for example.
Yeah.
In that team that in 1980-81, where we had a team that was tearing up that league for fun in the old Division 2. And I think we got beat 1-0 by Wrexham, having had the worst journey possible back from Tbilisi, even though we'd beaten them out there. So it does happen. That is, even these days where sports science is so much more advanced than it was back then.
Yeah.
That will have an effect. So yeah. The other thing I'm looking forward to is that the week after that, if Van Dijk's out for so long, the prospect of Antonio versus Gomez is going to be quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
So, but there you go.
Good stuff. All looking good. All looking good from a claret and blue perspective at the moment. Things seem to be turning in our favour somewhat on the pitch. So good stuff. Rio, I did say we'd come back to you, my friend, for one final look at the KUMB Forum match thread before we go. Before we do that, I'm just going to have a read of a couple of comments that we've had from the YouTube chat. Thank you once again to everybody who's joined us for the live feed here at Eyes Up Mother Brown. We do appreciate your support. Of course, if you've liked what you've seen on the stream this afternoon, do subscribe so you're notified whenever we go live with any of our content, whether that's Preview Percy's match previews or any of our mod pods or anything else, any of our exclusive interviews that we do every now and again. The Mastermind series, of course, KUMB Mastermind is returning next week for a few more episodes of that as we decide who is, or figure out who is, our most knowledgeable West Ham supporter. So keep an eye out for that one. But do subscribe, as I say, down there somewhere in that corner. Hit the button. And if you've liked what you've seen, give us a like and all those other modern things that you youngsters like to do. Sounding very old. Rio, just before.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Matt Hawkins says, today, spirit and fight, something we've lacked for a while, a good team performance. And Steve Palmer replies, Matt, it's just not the West Ham way. Sam, talking about Ben Rama, says, I think he might struggle to win a place on the bench against Man City next week. And today's comeback was down to one thing alone, character. The players showed great character. It was easy to throw the towel in, but we didn't. And Phil Davis again saying, can't wait for the opposition view, Phil. There's quite a few of you who are looking forward to that one. So keep an eye out on the homepage of KUMB tomorrow for that. I think it might just be a bumper episode. Pinky's already been scouting on the Fighting Cock just to gauge the few of the opinions, and they're not a happy bunch, let us tell you that. So we shall Pinky's nodding his head in
it's comedy gold on there at the minute. There's actually a couple of them calling each other out for a scrap. It's tremendous. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we hope to bring more of that for you on KUMB tomorrow in our latest opposition view. Austin, a bit of a negative note. Says, not sure if you've mentioned Balbuena, but he was terrible today and left us very exposed. So it'll be interesting to see. As we say, made up for it a little bit in the second half, didn't he? Scored the goal that set us on the way. And I'm going to pass over to Rio now for our last little roundup from the KUMB Forum. Hopefully, the busy spell has dissipated somewhat and people have been able to get a few more posts on there. Rio, what's the general consensus on the KUMB Forum match thread?
Yeah, it's absolute euphoria. But there's three posts that really stood out to me. First one's from Smoney, which was in the aftermath of the game immediately. Had Spurs managed to see out the 3-0? I'd still have been on here praising the fight and heart shown by our lads. An early sucker punch and a muted start as a result weren't great, but we busted gut for 70 minutes and deserve credit regardless of the goals. As it is, delighted by the much maligned Cress and General combining for the first, a terrific own goal finish from our new right back, chucking the ball in the corridor of uncertainty, made possible by the tireless Hastings by Creswell in the left channel, and finally a wonder strike by a player most, including me, had more or less written off. The passion by Moyes shown on the pitch was the icing on the cake. What a day. Next one's from Career Hammer. There's no avoiding the fact that we were loose early on and defended poorly for the first 3 of their goals. But I still feel we were playing some decent stuff, even first half. And in the second half, all credit to the manager and the players because they came out very positive. Obviously, to keep going like that when you're 3 down with 10 minutes to go and no crowd, it speaks volumes about the team spirit at the moment. Lanzini's goal is one for the ages, a real pearler. And the final one is from Junko Partner. That feels like a win. In fact, it feels better than a win. So glad for Lanzini to score a goal like that in a game at that precise moment. Well, that is something special. He's been my favourite player for years, even the last couple of seasons when he wasn't playing. When he plainly wasn't the same. I never gave up on him. I really hope this is a boost to his confidence he so desperately needs and it kickstarts a rejuvenation. I never gave up on you, Manu. Sorry for the stuttery voice, but it's been a bit of an emotional day.
That it certainly has been. And what a day it's been for West Ham United and our supporters. 3-0 down after just 16 minutes at the Lane. Oh, I mean, it was all so despondent. We were all so terribly disappointed with what we'd seen. It was still 3-0 with 10 minutes to go. We weren't expecting anything. Thought we might grab a consolation. We got that consolation on 82 minutes. Fabian Balbuena got his head on the end of a cross. 3-1. 2 minutes later, Kufal, our new man, Vladimir Kufal, sent a low cross in from the right, turned into Tottenham's own net by an unfortunate defender. 3-2. Hang on a minute. What's going on here? And then 3 minutes into added on time, just 1 minute away from the final whistle. Manuel Lanzini, the forgotten man, the man that we all thought was going to go in the transfer window, the man that many of us felt had seen his best days at West Ham and was not going to be any good to us anymore. Stepped up, unleashed a volley or a strike, half volley perhaps, from 22, 23 yards. It couldn't have been more perfect. It sailed into the top corner. Manny ripped his shirt off, ran to celebrate. David Moyes channeled David Pleat by running onto the field in celebration. The subs ran on the field. And it's what, in modern parlance, is referred to, I think, as scenes, as West Ham United celebrated a point at the Lane, having come back from 3-0 down. What an afternoon. What a month it's been. Perhaps it will get even better against Man City next week. We wait to see. For now, I guess we've got to leave with a little song. This one's for you, Tottenham. It's happening again. It's happening again. Tottenham Hotspur.
It's happening
again. Good night, everyone. We'll see you all very soon. Come on, you Irons.
Go, Irons.